Present in the room are select board members, can't remember anybody's.
Samara's wig, Paul.
Samara Saway, Paul
I know it's-
Madalinsky, Bruce Mello, Stan Noga, myself, Dot Maggio. Also present in the room is the recording clerk, Vanessa Ballou, and our road supervisor, Mark Bills. On the Zoom, we have Dan Towler, Fact TV, and Guy Tanza. Okay, at this time, looking at the agenda, and the meeting was called to order. Oh, what time did I call to order?
6:35.
My watch was 6:41.
By all
So,
means.
let's say 6:40. 6:40 p.m. Any changes to the agenda? I have a typo under 4A. The regular select board meeting minutes are May 17th, not May 15th. That was just a typo on my part when I was typing up the agenda. Here. All right. Any other changes at this time? There may be some items as we go through the agenda that I'm going to ask the table for a future meeting because of some groundwork needs to be done, a little bit more groundwork at that time. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest we perhaps table the knotweed
Yes.
thing because I saw,
Yeah,
you know.
okay. You want to, I want to announce it now? Okay, we can.
May as well, before I forget.
All right, we're gonna also table. Under number. 5E, which is the top of the second page, Japanese knotweed in Brookline. We're gonna table that. I'd also like to table 7C, the Brookline Meeting House Building Assessment from May 24th. That report is not provided to us as of yet. It's going to be a while before that report is submitted, so I'm going to ask to table that. And if we come up on anything else as we move along, we can do that. Are there any other changes at this time to the agenda? Hearing none, I'm going to move on. We have no scheduled members of the public. We do have two members of the public unscheduled. Dan and Guy, you were here first. Guy, do you have anything that you'd like to share? Or are you going to sit, or are you just here to sit in on the meeting?
I'm just sitting in on a meeting, but I just wanted to make sure that we're on tap for 10 o'clock tomorrow morning with the FEMA meeting.
That is correct. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. there's a FEMA meeting on Zoom. I will be here in the office and hopefully we'll get the Zoom set up. Who else might show up for that?
It's their Zoom, right? But we'll be using this
We're gonna
computer.
Yeah, they're gonna be on Zoom. I'm gonna come to the office.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll be
welcome
here.
to come. All right, very good. So I'm gonna get here about 9:30-ish. Yes, Guy. So we'll see you. We'll have coffee and donuts. Please bring them.
Thank you.
All right, the other member of the public, Dan, did you want to say something now on an item of the agenda, or are you just gonna wait until agenda items come up that are of interest to you?
The latter, thank you.
All right, very good. So we will move on now to number 4, review approved draft minutes. As noted, the minutes from, I have here May 15th, but we adjusted it. The minutes from May 17th, 2023. Okay. Okay, does anybody have any changes or modifications to page 1 of 1?
This is AAC. Here it says GT virtually acknowledged that SC and PM, but the nominated SC and GT signed the required oaths. I think it should be SC and PM. Sign the required oaths.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
All right. Anything else on page one?
Noted.
Right.
Thanks. On page two. I have one correction down under 9B, under the wheeled excavator. It's the last paragraph. It's in the last sentence. It says DM will also confirm with Alta whether a mower would be compatible with the excavator. It should say DM will also confirm with Alta whether any mower would be compatible with the excavator, because we weren't necessarily going to purchase or rent their mower. So,
It's too late to make a change in the agenda. Finish that first.
okay. Anything else on page 2 of 3? Page 3 of 3? I just saw 2 sets of initials that need to be corrected. Under reports and updates, Everett Mark Bills is EMB, not EMD. Says under road supervisor, the second bullet, DM recommended that EMD order signs, EMB. And the same thing with EMD recommends adding a 911 looking for the pit and mine. It should be EMB for Everett Mark Bills. Anything else on page 3?
It was under the 911.
No, there were two.
Yeah, I know, but
Oh, okay.
we don't need to hear.
Hey, anything on page 4 that needs to be edited in the draft minutes from May 17th? Hearing none. All those, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes from Wednesday, May 17th, 2023 as edited. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Paul. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the minutes from draft minutes from May 17th to the final minutes as modified, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, we also have emergency select board minutes from the Tuesday, May 30th meeting. And that was the emergency meeting to approve the rental of the JCB Hyper Dig 110 wheeled excavator from Alta Equipment Company. Does anybody? Oh, all right, let's go through. Does anybody have any changes or modifications to page 1 of 2 from the emergency meeting on May 30th?
No.
Does anyone have any changes or modifications for page 2? Hearing none, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the emergency meeting minutes from the May 30th, 2023 select board meeting as presented. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Paul. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of accepting the minutes from May 30th signify by saying aye. Any abstentions?
I have to, I wasn't there.
Thank you. And any noes? The minutes are approved as presented from the emergency meeting on May 30th. Okay. All right. All right, item C here, it says for your information, I had gone over with Guy and he went through the website and just to correlate, make sure we were all up to date on things. The Brookline meeting house minutes for April 13th, April 3rd, March 13th, May 8th, May 15th. Those were reviewed and double checked at their last meeting. And Dan, correct me, but you're going to send those finals to Mr. Tanza, correct?
It has been done, yes.
It has been done. All right. Thank you, sir. All right, letter D, the minutes for the following select board meetings are missing. It said May 3rd. Actually, our May 3rd meeting was canceled. And we had a meeting on May 4th to approve the accounts payable and payroll warrants. That was a special meeting. Yeah, that's
The May 17th draft was sent.
May 30th. Well, okay, the May 4th minutes were approved, and they were located in the May 17th minutes, which we just approved now. So the May 17th, we just approved the draft to final with amended. And in that May 17th minutes was the approval of the May 4th minutes, emergency meeting. And I just have to double check why they weren't sent. I'm pretty sure I sent them, but I'll follow up on that with Guy. May 4th. Okay, and also noted that the final minutes from the town meeting, March 6, 2023, have been signed and are also posted up online. The next, oh, we're too soon, it's too early. But, yes.
I ask
Dot, can I
something?
just add something?
Yes, sir.
I have no minutes for any April meeting minutes.
April, well, remember, we canceled the meeting because I was in the hospital.
Oh, yes, no, and I know that. I didn't know if there was any meetings or anything. I have nothing on the website for April at all, but I'm sure that we had something.
Agenda, there was a meeting on April 5th. And there are no minutes up here. The minutes on April 5th.
Those are the, so that was the first meeting that I
Okay.
ended up doing them. I sent them out. But I didn't know that I should have.
Okay, those were the
And I didn't
minutes.
anyway, because it was the first time I'd ever done them, right?
All right, Guy, on April,
It's so hard to
Fifth,
remember the dates.
Vanessa that was the first set of minutes that Vanessa was doing. And we're gonna rectify that and we'll have it on the agenda for the next one, okay? We did approve them, but it's April 5th and we'll follow up on that. But there
Okay,
was no
thank
second
you.
meeting in April at that time. All right,
So it was discussed at the last meeting. It was discussed on May 17th.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe so.
It's in the May 17th meeting minutes under review approved minutes, part A.
Right,
So if they've been approved, they just need to be
uploaded.
Yeah.
Yes, they've been approved. They need to be uploaded. Perfect. Okay,
approved with changes.
okay.
Identified.
All right, very good.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thanks.
Uh,
You wanna finish? What are you going on?
I'm ready to start new business. We're gonna open the thing. Do you have something you want to?
Yeah, I wanted to add something in agenda discussion of our money. I realized when
Discussion of what?
our money, and what I realized is I was gonna put it in my building commissioner report, and I figured that wasn't a good way to do it.
But you can put it when we have any other comments and
Okay.
any other reports or discussions from the select board.
That'd be fine. Where is that?
That
It's that
is-
for you, isn't it?
It's right.
Yeah, I see it.
Number F.
And I'll only do it if we've got the time. It turns to be 9 o'clock like we said.
Okay,
I'll just read.
all right, yeah, that's why I put that in there. If anybody thinks of something after the fact,
Right.
it's like, oh, yeah, I meant to.
Great.
Okay,
Went
All
through
right.
a lot of work on.
we're
Hope I
gonna,
can share that. Go ahead.
all right, we'll move on to new business, even though it's
Did
not,
you say the town meeting minutes are signed and posted?
that's correct.
I'm confirming them.
And there, yeah, I have a copy of it if you want to.
No, but I know Judy wanted a copy of it.
Yes, they're posted.
Okay.
Right, Guy, they're posted, correct? The town meeting minutes,
Yes, they've been posted now for a week.
correct.
Okay.
All right. Next item is new business to open the bids for the paving and pothole repairs. We had one vendor show up for the mandatory walk around with Mark on the 24th of May, I guess it was. When it started. All right, so I'm gonna open the Basin Brothers Trucking Inc. Dropped off there.
This is just free pothole repairs.
Correct.
It's the FEMA.
Open bids for paving pothole repairs, RFP. There's three things: the FEMA site on Putney Mountain Road, recycling bin area, and pothole repairs on Grassy Brook
And
Road.
that's addressing number three.
Huh?
Is that addressing all, of them?
Yes,
Okay, great.
And those pothole repairs are all those red.
those orange markouts.
Okay.
Okay, all right, in here I see a certificate of liability insurance with the certificate of Brookline as the holder. And I'm gonna make some copies for everybody, if you don't mind, just a second, since
That
this
would-
is
that
an
would-
awful lot for me to read. So I want everybody to have copies of it.
So we only got one bid.
It should have an actual serious thing.
But luckily we got one.
So, oh, there it is, okay.
We don't have any choice.
I know that one other that came and looked, that had a schedule, but didn't show up for the mandatory.
They've done work for us before though, Basin Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty.
Yeah.
You know, in that regard to that, just that part of the bid, I wonder if David Manning, Inc. of Brattleboro would have been interested in that, just that, because he does that basically for a living, drive out or spot stuff.
Yeah, I think it would have been ideal. Yeah, and
For us, Bowman's.
I feel like, we didn't
Also
send
Stevens,
information,
also
but it was in the Brattleboro Reformer.
Yeah,
Oh, second page,
well, yeah, the other thing is,
second page.
I don't know how aggressive he is in monitoring jobs.
Right, yeah,
I had a sense at one time he wasn't that good at it, but
yeah.
Okay, I didn't make a copy of the certificate of liability insurance, but I have it here with the envelope. All right, we take a look at the page one. Let's see what we have. Putney Mountain Road, remove pavement and pave. There is a saw cut and remove pavement, pave 2 courses of 2.5 inch base, 1 inch top, 19 by 80 at a cost of $17,000. And this is the final part of the paving that goes along with the damage from the storm 4621 back in July of 2021. The other paving was done last fall and it was near the bridge decking at Grassy Brook and Putney Mountain Road intersection. Okay, second part, recycling bin area. Was looking to pave 2 courses, 2.5 inches of base, 1.5 inches of top, approximately $18,000 for the recycling bin area. There's a mention here of a concrete dumpster pad at a cost, as you can see there, of $10,000.
That's for the recycling bin? Is that what
Yeah, I'm
that's for?
sorry, I would assume so.
Yeah, it would be the width of 2 dumpsters, so that
Okay.
when they back in and drop one, and they set over and pick one up. If he's set on regular pavement, they strip the pavement apart.
Is there a drawing for this?
No.
Just
All right, let's take a look at the third one is 1,000 square feet of cold planing, paving, large milling. 3 inches deep. I'm not sure. Mark, how to enter. I don't know how, what's it, Mark, you have the same form. We have 1,000 square feet and 200 square feet, 1,000 square feet at $9,000. And these are for the potholes, larger ones. And $4,200 for smaller milling, which would be smaller potholes. I'm guessing it's looking at 2 feet by 3 inches deep versus 7.5 feet by 3 inches. Looks like some of those 1,000 square feet is for the larger areas and the 200 square feet are for the smaller areas. The mobilization for the milling of bringing all the equipment into town is for $2,000. And the total cost of the project is $60,200. The second page that you have in front of you, any permits, we don't have to worry about. It examples, drainage, pricing for the project is based upon no retainage. What does that mean? If a project is to have retainage, please contact us prior to award to discuss. What does that mean? Retainage.
We had discussed this for one of the other RFPs we had last year. And I forgotten what the reply was for that. I think Mark and or Archie answered the question, but I'll be darned if I can tell you what it was.
All right, Mark.
Yeah, I'm unfamiliar. I don't know if there was a retainer fee.
It doesn't sound like it's a retainage fee.
I think you're right.
Do you think it might be a few, because there's 3 parts to this project, if we're gonna pull one of the 3 parts out of it, that might be it? Oh, Samara?
I just looked up retainage in construction. Retainage is an amount of money withheld from payment to a contractor or subcontractor until the end of the construction project or a time specified in the contract.
So it's based on no retainage.
I know some contractors want so much upfront and then the rest
Yeah.
completion.
All right, let's continue to go so we know what retainage is.
So they're saying we pay upfront?
No, I
We
can't.
don't.
Well, you're not gonna hold something back.
They're not gonna hold something back, okay.
Coal planning, including at the beginning and end of the project for smooth transition. They include their own traffic control. Shoulder gravel or loam at edges of new pavement is done by others, which would be the town. Sweeping is included. Mobilization costs is itemized at $2,000. The compaction testing is done by others. That means town. What is a compaction by others? That means preparing the dirt part up on Putney Mountain,
Yeah, getting the final grade ready for them.
but they have to rip out the old pavement, so you'd be working with them how are you gonna do that?
Well, I would probably do the grader work, so grade it once they're,
Once it's up.
Okay, so that's what compaction is with the grader. Okay, we don't have a roller.
right, no, they would have the roller there.
You just have to smooth level it, get it ready to go, and they would roll it and play it.
Okay. Number 10, customer acknowledges seasonal weather release and that work performed after November 1st will not be guaranteed. Well, we certainly would like this to be done before November 1st. Okay. Price is based upon the current liquid asphalt price of $621 per ton. The price to be adjusted to published liquid asphalt price at the time of completion. This quote is valid for 15 days. Payment terms are in 15 days. Pavement markings are by others, which would be the striping, which we don't do up there. And work to be completed before it by November 1st. Work to start after September 1st. Grading of Putney Mountain Road is by others. Mark, that's what you were just saying. And the above quantities for milling and filling are minimum quantities authorized by Jeffrey Marston, and that is set up. If I may, before we go around and talk about it, I'm just going to say that our paving project has got, our paving account has $45,000 in it, so the $60,000 is more than we can afford. It looks like we're not going to be able to consider the concrete or recycling area.
Yeah.
That would be $28,000 right there.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question though
Yes.
about the highway fund? That one thing, when I was looking at the financials, the financial statements have in the highway fund have like I think it's a $23,000 transfer out to the ARPA fund. Did they why?
Oh, that,
I'll tell you why. When we set up for Mark's position, we did not budget for an increase in his salary nor hours. And so we initially were
So
going to.
you used ARPA money and then you paid it back?
And then he
Okay.
didn't spend it all, so we paid it back. So it came back to ARPA.
All right. Was
We had
that
it in ARPA. We needed it over here to provide a
to
balanced
provide
budget.
bill?
And then when the number of hours,
Was
We're not-
as much.
You
we
gave back the surplus.
Yeah.
gave
Yes.
back the
I got it.
surplus to
Okay.
ARPA.
I'm waiting for. a total.
Query, can ARPA funds be used for paving projects?
Yeah, but why would we want to do that? ARPA funds could be used for anything.
Pretty much.
I mean, they
Well-
have to be used in the public interest.
Correct.
Yes.
But the answer is yes, it can be used
And
for
roads
paving.
are important in town.
Yeah.
This is for, but this is for the parking lot.
But if this is for the parking lot, which leads me to my other question. Is it worth it to pave that area anyway? Because weren't we gonna move the recycling to a less public area? The thought was, I thought years, I'm kind of going back a few years, that we were gonna move
But
the
then they dump their own.
recycling to the salt shed area.
No,
But-
I recall that same thing.
We
Yeah,
decided
But-
against that.
well, I thought,
I'm sorry.
go ahead, Guy.
I just wanted to add one thing. The paving of or the cementing of the recycling area, I'm a little concerned because it is sitting right on the brook, that the environmental board may have something to say about that. And I'm not sure, did we look into that to make sure that we're in compliance?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's another good point. So we just eliminated the
I got a
recycle bin and the concrete dumpster.
Question scenario.
All right, Samara, anything else?
No, he actually, because you've answered my questions.
Paul?
That's it.
No, I think
Bruce?
I think what you were saying is exactly what I was thinking, but if we take the $28,000 out of the bid, how's Basin Brothers gonna like that?
I don't know, we have to tell them.
Find out,
We
won't
have to find out. We won't be able to award the bid until we find out.
Of course not, okay.
Okay, Stan?
Everything I've heard makes sense. I mean, you know, and from an ARPA standpoint, the benefit of the community, I'm not sure that particular type of project could be literally justified or meet a scrutiny by a auditor. So,
All right, so I'm looking at,
Yeah, because that would be 32,200.
yeah.
Are they gonna, they're not gonna be happy.
so, if we remove the recycling bin and concrete dumpster pad, we're looking at a cost of approximately $32,000 for the paving, of which 17,000 is FEMA money. So actually, we do have 17,000. You understand, like the FEMA money, we're gonna look at getting a 90% rebate.
Right, but-
Refund, but we got to pay for it initially.
90%.
Obviously, yeah, I mean, you can, that I know, I do
It's not
understand
17,
that.
90% of 32.2 is how
Yeah, 90%
I'm sorry?
of 32.2 is more than 17,000.
Right,
17,000 would be more like 50, a little over 50.
right. So,
to do that.
uh-oh,
All right, so,
we're offline for a second.
Oh, wait a minute.
no, we're not offline.
Okay,
Um,
all right.
so, hearing from this, I think what I am hearing is that I need to, tomorrow, contact Basin Brothers and ask them, what is the situation if we pull out that recycling bin area work and only keep the Putney Mountain Road and the 1,200 square feet of paving as noted at the bottom? The mobilization fee is not going to change. It's gonna cost $2,000 whether they do one thing or 5 things.
Okay, now, all of these items are FEMA related, since other than the recycle and concrete dumpster, are the other 1, 2, 3,
No.
4? No,
Their town.
all of it,
Other
except for the
than,
top.
other than the first one.
Right.
Okay,
Just,
understand.
you know, when you
I
go
understand.
around town, we've marked out the,
Yes,
in
I understand.
orange, those are instead of.
I was asking a stupid question, I just want to be clear.
All right,
Putney Mountain Road is only FEMA, everything else is town, okay,
correct.
so,
All right, so is it the pleasure of this board that I contact Basin Brothers and ask them about pulling out the recycling bin and concrete dumpster pad part of the project and seeing how and if this price changes significantly, whether in any way? And then sharing that information by email, and if we need to have a brief meeting to vote on this between now and the next select board meeting,
Yeah.
we could do that.
So move.
Okay, any further discussion?
Well, yeah, I mean, this, Samara gave the definition of retainage. But here it's saying payment terms of 15 days. So, I mean, are they expecting the full amount?
At 15 days after doing the project.
After they're done and they bill us, it's like.
15 days.
Payment.
15
Within 15
Okay.
days, yeah, right. Okay, and Stan, just refresh me, when we do this, we're going to provide them with our contract in addition to their bid.
Yes, our bid would be based upon the figures that are remaining in this bid. And would contain the contents of the RFP as a addendum A. And any other document that would be dependent upon assuring that what is done is what both we have asked for and they've affirmed as what they're going to do.
I'm gonna
So,
ask to them to resend this document, a bid sheet with those two paving notes removed.
well, either that or initial cross it, put an X and have their officer principal initial it. And then we would do the same and initial it back, if that's easier.
And then they have to.
At mortgage closings, you know, if there's an issue that changes, you change it, you initial it, and everybody is copacetic.
All right, so
I have one more
go ahead,
question.
Samara.
I just want to make sure I understand, really, the FEMA portion of this work, of this bid, is the Putney Mountain Road part,
Yes.
Correct.
right? Okay, so when I took 90% out of that number, if assuming we didn't change anything, just for the record, the total cost to the town would be approximately $45,000.
And that is the cost that is the money that we have budgeted, 45,000 for a paving fund.
Right. Well, it's 44,900. I mean, I took 90% of the 17,000 out of this. So we technically could almost afford to do the whole thing, but I guess there are other questions about whether or not we should pave the recycling area, which have nothing to do with costs.
We can always do that too somewhere.
But I just wanted to give you the numbers.
I don't know if anybody else on sport is kind of surprised with the amount, $28,000. If I heard that one, if they're first considering, I would say.
Yeah. Likewise, I feel
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, I guess, yeah,
No, thank
All
you.
right,
that's a lot of
We
money.
could pave the front of Susie.
It is,
I don't suggest we do that.
so again, I'm going to reiterate, it is at this board's pleasure that I contacted Bays and Brothers and asked them what changes, if any, would occur in these numbers when we remove the recycling bin area paving and the concrete dumpster pad. We'd like to take that $28,000 off. I want to ask them if any of the other figures are going to change. Right?
They were really good. I have a suspicion they will not change. When I asked them to reconsider based upon misinformation that we had last time,
Yes.
they were very precise and very helpful. And they stayed with what they want, what they had stated. As a matter of fact, they gave us a break because they realized they had made a mistake and overcharged us, but they've been very accurate, very trustworthy.
All right, so
Okay.
I am going to table the awarding of this bid until we get the answers that you had charged me to get regarding the taking out of the recycling area. Okay?
Yeah,
So we moved, we seconded, everybody in favor of doing that?
Everybody in
Yes.
favor of tabling this item until further information is available?
Aye.
Yeah,
All right, motion passes to
Guys,
take.
guys, got
Yes,
I have one thing, if it's possible to, if it makes a difference to approve it quicker, since we have, we don't want to work on top of work on top of work. If you find out soon, can we just do a Zoom meeting to approve the award?
we could do
Do something quick, like we did.
Yeah. That's what we do, special meeting, just one topic agenda.
Thank you.
Okay?
Good.
All right, we shall now move on to, so this is table. All right, introduction of a new policy. I'm gonna table that too. I didn't get to write it. I'm gonna do it very short and sweet, but maybe there might be two items on the special meeting. That policy would be just to allow the town to remove hazardous materials that are found in the right of way, including rock, trees that are in the culvert or ditches in the town that could cause future damage.
Okay.
So that's basically it, but, you know, one of my things to do, I didn't do. So that's been tabled.
So it's tabled simply because it's just, we don't have a policy currently.
I didn't type it up.
Not, that that's a problem.
That's, yeah, I tabled it because I didn't.
So you might put that in the Zoom meeting.
Okay.
Emergency.
All right, item C, review the RFP for FEMA mitigation.
I made copies of my draft. So you want me to pass them around?
I brought, unless you changed it, I brought.
I did make a change, but I emailed I emailed you the change. I emailed Archie the change. I did not email anything with changes because I didn't get any other edits from anyone. So rather than send out a group email and confuse everybody because I was sending almost the same things,
If you don't
Here.
mind, we'll
just take one and pass it around.
okay.
And give one to Mark. And this is the long form, not the short form. And I had a lot of questions.
Yeah.
It's two-sided. The first page is marked 1, the second page is marked 2. So you want me to talk you through it?
Yes,
For starters, I need dates for things. And everything that I had, well, it won't be yellow, it'll be gray on your copy since it's a black and white printer, was kind of up for grabs because I didn't know if it was something that had to be in or if we wanted to take it out. Archie corrected some information for me on culvert number 9. It's the third paragraph on the outlet end of the culvert, large armor rock boulder material is required to stabilize the embankment from the road edge to the bottom of the bank. And he said his addition was this riprap material on the slope should be 1 foot to 2 feet to the toe, and that should be TOE, toe of the slope and 100 feet in length. Okay, I have a typo there. It's not toe like towboat.
So these are the changes, okay.
So that was a change, but if you haven't read it, you probably want to read it. One thing, I don't know if what the bid date should be. I put June 7th because I knew we were reviewing it here. I also added that the town will be supplying these culverts there. In culvert 10, Archie said that we don't need a new culvert. Is that correct?
Yes, that one has already been installed.
Okay. Okay, so this culvert requires a new header. The other thing that Archie, in both culvert 9 and 10, Archie questioned my choice of wording, which I understood his question because it's awkwardly worded for the precast header and a cast in place concrete header. He suggested using and or, but I wrote back to him that FEMA had asked us to get a price for each.
Right,
So I hope that's clear.
yes, it is for me.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Then where did I leave? Okay. Gravel material. Do we have specs on the gravel material? What kind of gravel should we put here? I wrote gravel material and I put in parentheses, specs will be required for culvert installation as well as as well as for increasing the width and length of the current road area surrounding the culverts. The finished road width is estimated to be what? And the length, what? I don't know what the finished road width is supposed to be.
So I believe the pavement is 19 foot in length.
No, this is not the pavement. This is up at culverts 9 and 10.
So I would assume that we would have the road at least 20 feet.
20 feet, the length to be 20 feet,
The width is.
the width to be at least 20 feet. You wanted to read at least 20 feet?
Yeah,
Do you want the word at least in there?
yeah, minimum.
A minimum width of 20 feet. Okay. The minimum. Thank you.
And then the length, I believe, was 100 feet.
Approximately 100 feet.
Yeah,
I'm gonna type this all
and
in.
that covers the area between the two culverts.
Okay, all right.
So that's for 9 and
So
10.
we're 9 and 10. Then culvert 28, the current 15-inch corrugated metal culvert must be replaced by an 18-inch by 34-foot plastic culvert. Stone headers will be added to the culvert inlet. Anything else? Did I miss anything? And do they have to purchase? We are not supplying that culvert, correct? Or are,
If we supply it, we bill it into the charge, we bill it into the FEMA account.
right, but if, are we buying it at this?
We have them.
We have the 34, we have the culverts for all of these culverts.
Let's do one at a time. We
I
have,
keep an inventory at the town garage.
So I know we have the culverts for culvert 9. Do we have the culverts for culvert 28?
an
Yeah,
18-inch culvert. We have plenty of 18-inch
Yeah.
culvert by 34, but that would be almost 2 full culverts. Those culverts run 20 feet in length.
Town will supply culvert.
Yes. Town supplied.
Okay. Okay, culvert 31, it's the same deal, the 15-inch corrugated metal pipe must be replaced by an 18-inch by 34-foot plastic culvert. And again, the town has that culvert.
Town supplied culvert. Town will supply culvert.
Okay, town will supply culvert, add that. And did I get that right? Because I talked to you, Dot, and you said culvert 31 is above culvert 28.
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, good. And I put new ditches need to be excavated and armored with ditch stone for erosion control and water flow control between this culvert and culvert 28. Do we know approximate length of that?
From 28 to 31.
Yeah,
That part about the new ditches. Between this culvert and culvert 28, that part should be taken out,
should be what?
should be, taken out of there. Because we also
Wait, what part do you want me to take out?
take out the
New ditches.
ditches to be excavated and armored with ditch stone for erosion control.
Delete that. And water flow control between culvert.
Yeah, because they're not close enough to where it kind of reads it.
It's a long way.
Continuation and
That's not what they're gonna do.
right.
Okay, so
So-
we're not doing that, and so let me say that back to you. New ditches to be excavated through the culvert 28 is deleted. Stone headers will be added to this culvert inlet.
Yes,
Town will supply culvert.
Yeah.
Okay, I got those changes.
Okay.
Then I added, because Archie asked, is the road gonna be closed for this?
Yes.
Yes, Putney Mountain Road will be closed during the working hours for the duration of the repairs. Is that
Yes,
okay?
yes.
Yes.
If I remember correctly, the contract completion date, the contract shall be honored before September 30th, 2023. We want to do that. Did we find out if we need water permits yet? Do we know?
I called the guy at A&R this morning and asked him about that. And he actually remembered it. He says, I believe your town's already replaced it, the culvert. And I said, I don't know. I said, but do we require a permit, or are you suggesting that we, whatever it was he suggested? He said, no, it's only suggested. Matter of fact, he said, I'm surprised I didn't put somewhere in that statement, that memorandum, words to that specific effect, that it was basically recommended and not required. He said, there's no need for a permit. We're not required to have a permit for that. So I told him we were trying to determine how to respond to FEMA's question about that.
Right.
Well, it also makes a difference with the timing of the work too, right?
Yeah,
October 1st, October is
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
water
Yeah.
being in the water.
So if we don't need a permit, if
uh,
we don't need a permit, can the work go beyond September 30th, or do we
With
want
an
to leave it
extension.
as September 30th?
Need an extension, right?
now, are we talking the permit for culvert number 9? Or culvert number?
Well, I'm talking any of the culverts, 9, 10, 28, or 31.
I think 28 and 31 are not eligible.
They're definitely a no.
For those permits because they're seasonal water,
Mhm.
they're dry.
And so it would only be culvert 9 that was.
Number 9 has had the hydraulic study and.
We're already done with that. We already had the
Yeah,
study.
and so, but the permit is optional for number 9, or we have to have a permit for number 9.
Was it 9 that Scott Jensen did? Was that the memo?
Yeah,
It
that's
was,
the one
okay,
Scott gave us the hydraulic study.
okay.
And number 10, we replaced. And that stream that dries up also in the summer. And there was a couple of facts was, because it was, dried up in the summer, we didn't need the permit. And the other fact is, number 10, the culvert had failed at the time of the flooding. And we had to put in a new culvert in its place to open the road up. And the state will allow any town to install new culverts up to 3-foot diameter without any permits. And so we figured 36-inch was an upgrade from 18. So we went with the 3-foot, knowing that we probably wouldn't have any more problem with flooding. With that, so number 10 is already installed. And the only qualm about it was the fact that we installed stone header and not a concrete header. And being that it's so close to number 9, and they wanted to see concrete header on 9, they also
The larger,
mitigation and concrete as well.
right, when you have a 36-inch culvert, they want concrete headers versus stone headers, because the volume of water could easily wash out a stone support. So the concrete, whether it be poured or prefab, that's the bid will have to give those two choices to us.
One other thing, when I read his memo, it was confusing because he referenced that particular culvert. He used a longitude and latitude measurement. So I should have asked him what culvert that was, but I didn't want to look like we didn't know what we're doing. So I was embarrassed to ask. So what I went and did is I went and looked at 10 other culverts in that area from 30 down to 12. I could not find the coordinates that matched his coordinates for labeling that culvert. And I am wondering if in the future, it would be possible to get either Nugent or A&R to actually use the numbering system that we're going by in our culvert inventory,
Right?
just as another backup?
Yeah, that's a good question when we meet with Jeff or Lisa this next week. We could ask that question.
Yeah, it makes sense. It would make everything consistent, because when you're working with multiple agencies and they're not all using the same language, you need to have the numbers.
Yeah,
That was a good point, Stan.
yeah, well, you know, I did 10 of them and I couldn't match it. And
Yeah,
God only knows, they're what, 3 feet off maybe? So does that make it not applicable in some scenario? We're gonna get hassle from FEMA, whatever, not to belabor it, but that would make it easier.
So I think what Samara was asking a few minutes ago, can this date be extended to October 15th? Instead of September 30th, if
if
necessary?
we're working in the water and with permit needed, that's a question that Scott Jensen, A&R would.
But he just said he talked to him, and we don't,
But the extension, because there's a deadline.
deadline is October 1st.
So-
October 1st.
My bad. So, all right, I'm thinking the 5th. So let's leave it at the 30th.
We'll leave it, okay,
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
okay,
I like that.
And then the last part would be to determine the month and day of the pre-bid meeting.
Wait, yeah, this is page 1, you're gonna have to go to, it's not last yet, there's a page 2.
Okay.
A mandatory pre-bid meeting will be held on when?
Well, it depends upon when we put this in the newspaper, because we
Yeah.
usually would give 10 days from the date of publication for the pre-bid meeting.
September?
Dan, could you mute your microphone, please?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
And do you want, I mean, is it gonna be kind of like what you did for the paving, like take them and show them what needs to
Well,
be done?
Everybody. has
That's how
to be-
pre-bid meetings work, okay.
Any questions, everybody?
So it will always be starting at the Brookline Town Hall
Yes,
with the address. I'll put the address.
yes.
Well, the address is up there. Never mind.
So this information, when it gets
And then I'm gonna
provided
put
for the newspaper.
TBD. So this will be TBD when publication, when
Yes.
published.
to be
Okay.
defined. Okay.
Okay. Turning it over, bid submission deadline. All bids must be received by,
And
And it'll
again,
be-
that will be
that will
depending,
be determined.
right, when we put it in the paper, when the visit was, that everybody, all the vendors came. and then we would have a,
Update.
yes, to
Okay.
be determined.
Okay. Notification,
And that,
bids will be opened at a regular select board meeting approximately 7 PM.
yes,
At
that's
7 PM that, here, my header and this is the, okay. Then cross out that preliminary draft thing that's done as a header. Evening vendors are encouraged to attend by Zoom. And I assume the meeting ID will be set up
right.
at some point. And questions, do you want to know who should questions be addressed to? If anybody,
Yeah.
Mark, usually it's Mark.
I mean,
you,
I can answer the questions and then,
E-mark bills,
questions will be brought on the viewing date as well to the site.
okay,
site visit.
Mhm.
yeah, E-mark bills at your email?
Yeah,
At email, okay. I can do that. Let's do that. Okay, then this, I followed the AOT template, and then I wondered, the town of Brookline reserves the right to accept or reject all bids, blah, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah. This is a lump sum project. Do you wanna include that language?
Yeah, that would be fine. There'll be no progress payment for the lump
Yeah.
sum bid. All right, that makes it much
And do
easier.
you like that verbiage? Okay,
I don't have a problem with that.
okay, good. And then the general stuff is, I crossed out, the general stuff, I crossed out the traffic control protection and all that stuff by putting Putney Mountain Road will be closed to traffic during the work on the project. do we want to say that the contractor will block the road, or, will the town block the road? Will
Yeah,
they-
I would say the town will do the.
Yeah, we
The
close the
town will
road.
do the road control.
We will close the road.
And, I talked with Archie about how long the hours should be closed, and we came up with 7 to 5,
Okay,
so it'll just be the work hours. 7 to 5 for how many days.
Be opened up between 5 and.
okay. And now this isn't part of the bid, but I was thinking, well, let me finish this and then I'll tell you the one thing I was wondering about road closure and how we should notify people. Request for proposal details. Where do I put the, well, this is going on, this is the one that goes on the website. But do we want to include any other options for getting the details other than going to our website? Is that necessary? Should we say you can, in addition to the, you can,
We can mail, I mean.
I can put that, I'll put that in the brief one.
Yeah, they could it is in a download, Guy puts it up as a PDF. And
Yeah.
It's downloadable off of
Yeah,
the
I
website.
talked to Guy today,
Yeah.
and he said that. And just so everybody can do
And
that.
they're welcome to come in and get a copy, hard copy. if they
yeah.
want.
Do you like the language at the base of this too? Proposal shall indicate the intended schedule, steps and tasks. And shall contain a cost estimate for the proposed services. Is that language okay? It's a little, it's a little wordy.
One of the things that FEMA likes to have included is the amount of material that they're putting into the road.
Okay, the steps. Proposal shall indicate the
Types, quantity of
the
material.
intended schedule, steps and tasks. I think that's a little bit ridiculous personally, but and material estimated,
Types and
material,
quantity of materials.
material quantity and types,
Mhm.
material quantity and types.
Right, so it's scrap, yeah.
Okay. That are proposed by the corrector and shall contain a cost estimate, obviously. The proposal shall be submitted in how many copies? Just one?
They send us one copy like we got tonight and then.
Yeah, we'll just get one. We don't need to put copies. Then we can cross that out. And the town may waive any informalities, technicalities, minor defects, and reject blah, 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 at the best interest. This is a little bit duplicative about what's above. Any proposal received after the time and date specified shall not be considered. So
Electronic submissions are allowed.
electronic submissions are allowed. Who did they go to? You?
Me. And I have to include my email address.
Okay, electronic submissions. And are we requesting sealed bids?
Sealed bids.
Sealed bids, okay. Electronic are okay, so I have to make these changes and then send this out to you again, right? Or sit here and do it right now.
No.
Okay, because I did bring my computer, so I could sit here and do it right now. But I'll probably screw it up. if I do it too quick.
I didn't bother to write a lot of this down because it needed to be talked about here,
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. So I will clean up the draft and make it a final draft and
Good
send it
job.
all out to you. Probably maybe by Saturday morning.
Okay.
So look for it by Saturday morning and then I
If
will,
we happen to be able to do a special meeting for the Basin Brothers, we could also approve the RFP for this project on the same special
Yeah.
agenda. And what was the other thing?
There was something else that you were.
There was something else that I saw on here.
That you didn't make up.
Basin Brothers, this, and this, well, to be determined. But yes, we'll get
Okay,
it,
great.
and then we can have a special meeting. Zoom meeting.
I like shorter meetings.
But you don't have them every week, that's not the thing.
I know, but you know,
Okay, all right, well, Samara, thank you. It is not easy doing these RFPs, the details are touchy, especially
well,
in this.
Thank you,
what's
very thorough.
what was challenging for me are the road things and how much detail is necessary. I don't have to specify the materials.
No,
We're
they
asking the
should.
contractor to do that.
Right.
I also might add at this point too, and we can add this to another agenda, is I found out from a town clerk from our friend in Jamaica, you can have two
Sorry.
newspapers of record. So we could start using the commons, which would be cheaper.
Mhm. You can-
Jamaica uses the commons because all their contractors read the commons.
Yeah, I brought that up a while.
So,
There was the only catch, I think, to that was that some of the people that we have to advertise for require bids to be submit in the paper 3 days in a row. And the Commons can't
Right.
do that,
oh,
so.
A FEMA one, I'm gonna
Oh,
put,
good to know, good to know.
and
Thank
that's a
you.
concern.
That's an important detail. So the comments can't write because they
They're
don't
once a
publish
week.
3 days in a row.
Okay.
Did you know how much the Commons charge?
It's way cheaper.
Oh, yeah, they're very much cheaper.
Yeah, it's not,
Yeah, but I mean, then we only got one bid here. Would it make sense to,
yeah, but
Do
if
it
you,
both
if you
ways.
have a funder, if you have,
no, I understand
Yeah.
that, but I'm just saying,
yeah, we could pick. It would make
no,
sense
I'm
to
not
have
saying,
a choice.
fix, saying
We should
you
have a
could vote.
choice, yeah.
if
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not a lot of money. Because, I mean, we did look at the Commons and, obviously maybe
There-
there's more vendors that.
There are, I'll tell you one thing though, and Mark can concur with me on this, there are construction survey companies that go to the ads in the Reformer. Collect those ads, usually contact me or contact Mark and say,
And they
ours
do
is
it.
correct, and then they send it
post
out
them.
in their newsletter to all of their contractors. Davis and Company is one,
Mhm.
there are several solicitors or companies that
And
have
they only look at the
subscribers.
reformer.
They go to Burlington paper, when we did our brick grant, we went and put it in several newspapers, it was expensive, but.
Yeah.
There's still, we got 3 RFPs for the brick grant, and we had to put them in several newspapers.
Yeah, and I just wondered, are there online ones you can go to directly?
Yeah, I guess I could sit there and do it. but
No, I'm not
yeah.
saying you have to do it. I'm just saying someone could do it. You could delegate, I would do, it, for example.
But they have companies that.
Yeah.
Whose job that
Okay,
is.
cool.
All
All
right.
right, thanks.
Well, thank you very much. This is, like I said, it's very,
Good job.
the only thing so this is the long form, this is all the details.
The
The short form would be,
short form I didn't print out for you because I figured I wanted to get the
Long form
long
going.
form done, but I have it on my computer. I can read it to you. If you want, because I don't mind doing that, because I think for paid publication, I was a little bit confused. How much I said the town of Brookline is seeking bids for 4 culvert replacements and related road repair remediation on Putney Mountain Road. A mandatory pre-bid meeting will be held on blank day, starting at the town hall at 8 AM. Contact Mark. Bids must be received no later than 4 PM on Wednesday blank. Bids will be opened at a regular board meeting at approximately 7 PM that meeting, blah, blah, blah. The full request for proposal with project details can be accessed and printed from the town's website.
www.
Yeah, www.brookline.com. And then it has to submit an electronic bid. Please contact Dorothy Maggio, sealed bids, and it lists your phone number, not your email.
We can do both.
Do you want to do both?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The town of Brookline reserves the right to accept or reject any or all bids that are deemed to be in the best interest of the town. Insurance documentation must be included with bid. And thank you, Stan, for sending me a sample.
Very good, yes.
And I was just wanting to be sure that I don't have to put like all the technical, I'm just saying there are 4 culvert replacements and related road repair. Go find the original long one to get the details.
Correct.
Actually, okay, good. So that one is pretty much done. as soon as I finish the detailed one. Okay, cool.
How would they do it sealed electronic? too? I mean, How does that?
It's not gonna be, gonna come to me and
It'll
I'm just
come-
not gonna disclose it. I
You
confirm,
would
I
seal
call
it,
them back
you
and
would
say,
seal it.
I received your bid. And it will be revealed to the select board
Okay,
on
okay.
7 PM.
Okay, good, I'm done.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay, so now we're going on to number 5B, new policy we tabled. We did C, RFP for FEMA mitigation. All right, D, job description for temporary filing position. We were talking about just going through these files, looking at, selecting a date of the number of years to archive and scan. I understand you made a very good point that if we threw away documents that were older than 10 years, we would certainly not be able to do research when you did research on the school purchase. So we're just talking about putting them in the basement,
Mhm.
not shredding or anything of
Can
that
I-
sort.
Can I,
Yes.
here's another suggestion that I thought of. Don't let me start thinking, I'll think of lots of things, but we could have someone scan a lot of the older stuff and put it into electronic format. And because little thumb drives are a heck of a lot smaller to store than paper, and you won't need as many file cabinets. We could organize, we could have a numbered system, you could put labels on your thumb drives. Yeah,
Well, the thumb drives are not perfect. I would like to have it in the cloud somewhere.
you could
actually.
have it in the cloud, so another, yeah. We could do it in the cloud, we could do it, I mean, you could actually put it in both places. You could have a thumb drive, you can back up. You can never back up too much, spoken like a true accountant,
Yes.
but yeah, there's OneDrive, Google Drive, we could pick a cloud service, there are paid cloud services. Nemrick is already stored in the cloud. We have like offsite backup, but rather than, I would suggest like for archival stuff that's like beyond 5 years old, if it's keepable, then let's scan it. The person could put scannable objects into scannable documents rather.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we need to come up with a job description for this temporary filing position and discuss the archiving of these documents and the organization of the documents that will be maintained in hard copies and accessible in the closet. And we've had 3 different people who were interested in the position. The first one that approached Bruce was that was looking for 20 hours a week. And that was more than this position was, because we're not talking about an assistant, we're talking about someone just to help catch us up with this paperwork. The second one was a young lady who has, Christine, who has been interested in helping us out. She I was communicating with her and I said, sorry, we're so delayed here, but we haven't decided if this is going to be a part-time temporary employment position or a sub.
As a contractor, as
A
an
contractor.
independent
She
contractor.
responded back, I've been working as a subcontractor in other positions. And the third person was Sherry, and she's just very organized. I don't know how up she's going to be on the scanning and saving stuff and organizing it digitally. So I think, can we have what do we do? Then we also have to look at the job description for an administrative assistant. So we're sort of.
So here's my thought, you can either treat them independently. You have one person who's definitely not interested in staying on, is that Christine?
No,
Right.
Dorothy. Her name was. And
Dorothy wants,
Oh, yeah.
Dorothy Fontaine
Right.
wanted a part-time job.
He wanted a little more like a job.
Right.
okay.
And
Dorothy's
another
open.
person who was interested wanted $25 an hour. There's 4 people. too much, we don't pay
Yeah, it wasn't
anybody.
worth it.
It was too much money, too many hours, and then we have someone who may not be able, I don't know.
So.
So we need to have two select.
So
board
you,
members
we
do
need
this.
to, so and we should, and we probably need to put it out on a more public format, like at least the front porch forum as well as the lister, right? But, or
Would
are we
seem
just,
appropriate.
are we just dealing with the candidates that we know of?
You know, we've been tracking people along for weeks.
Yeah, I know. So let's just say, let's keep it simple. Let's make it a discrete file organization project for the month of June into the beginning of the next fiscal year for this, for like, it's a 2-month project to sort those files, don't you think? It shouldn't take anybody longer than that.
I think this is mine.
And you
It's supposed
want
to
it-
be filed for the last 9 months.
And
It's
so
not much.
Yeah.
let's say that there's the one task you really want to see accomplished, right, is getting the files here in order so that things can be actually found.
Yes,
So, and we presumably would like that to happen sooner rather than later. So why don't we say, you know, starting in like no later than the end of June and working during the months of July. You know, for a 4-week, it could be a 4-week project, it could be a 2-month project. But you don't want someone coming in 2 hours a week and doing a little bit and then going home and not getting it done. You know, we don't want that, right?
Right.
Right.
Okay, so.
My question is, how many hours are we looking to, we estimate what it's gonna cost us?
I would estimate it'll take you, well, I haven't looked at the files. But let's assume that it's just a matter of pulling everything out of the files and putting it back in order in a more consolidated fashion.
that's a good.
You've looked at the files. Will it take more than 2 months? No. And it won't be
5
full.
weeks?
Yeah, 5 weeks. Let's call it a 5-week project. I'll make it 6, just to be symmetric. A 6-week project with approximate time period of like 2 days a week, 3 days a week.
How many hours? How long was a day?
I would say a day is probably
10 hours a week you're talking about, 20 hours, 15 hours?
I would
a week?
say 15 hours a week. What do you think?
So you're talking
Less, more?
30, 60,
I'd say
75
it
hours?
probably is gonna be a little less in the long run. You're
That's
just really just
75.
spreading it out.
Yeah, but so let's say a minimum of 7 hours. It could get done quicker.
Yeah,
But so,
we don't really know, but it, an approximation.
but let's say, you know, if someone can only work mornings, they would come in like 3 hours, you know, like maybe up
Up to 10 hours a
up
week.
to 10 hours a week. Sounds good. I agree.
The only other caveat I'd add to that is, it's, I think every board might have a desire to protect its interest and its image. So what I find in there when I go in there is like, you get a TA 60 report for 2014. You
Yeah,
get
but-
another file for 2015, another file for 2016. They're not in the same cabinet, they're not in the same drawer.
But-
So pulling it all out, we have to set an understanding, I think, that do we want that particular item consolidated into one file and just file them chronologically? Or do you
Well-
want to have separate files?
I would say that somebody on the board should just be the contact, the liaison.
Yeah, does that have to be in the job
It
description?
doesn't have to be in the job description.
No, but that person's gonna come back and ask somebody, and
Yeah.
then we need to be in agreement on it.
So I would say, I mean, I personally don't care, but it'll take less space if you put all TA 60s in one file.
And I know the
Absolutely.
fact that Judy has a file TA 60s in her cabinet
Oh,
too.
really?
Well, yeah, because the treasurer used to do it.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
select board didn't used to do it, the treasurer used to do
I
it.
see.
So, you know, or it's probably passed back and forth. While I was here, I did it.
Yeah,
So, and And so, and I even have an Excel spreadsheet, so you don't have to do it manually, but now, I would say certainly if, I mean, there was a whole highway file in the treasurer thing, because a lot of the tasks were treasurer tasks,
see.
were in that department. That's
Uh-huh.
why there's a file there. I'm sure they'll be happy to hand it off. But yeah, to the extent that there's duplicative stuff. The other thing too is that the treasurer's files are locked files. Are these locked files? No.
No,
So
probably ought to be, but
maybe not. I mean, really, we work for a government. Everything is open to the public, truly. So.
but you, well, yeah, you're not gonna let somebody go into your files and put things back by themselves.
Right, but you don't want people taking things out of it.
Correct.
So, go ahead.
So I was just wondering, what does Brattleboro do? I mean, it's a bigger town with deeper pockets. What does Newfane do?
They have a full-time assistant who does just that.
Yeah,
Which-
so how do they organize their files?
Brattleboro will have you sit in a chair. They'll ask you what you want. You indicate if you know the number of the parcel, et cetera, and their employee goes and
Sure,
does it.
which is to maintain the files and file security.
Right.
But what's their file structure? Because some
Oh.
of the
Every
questions.
town has a different
Yeah,
file
okay.
structure,
So,
but
It's the alphabetical
generally
number.
speaking, the way I always learned to file is alphabetic order, oldest behind, newest on top, and with subject order. Louise Serwa, who was an assistant here, who was a librarian, she took the original jumble and unjumbled it years ago, but that's like 8 years ago now, maybe. So it's rejumbled. It's okay. It happens.
So I'm gonna get us back on task that we
That's
can
okay,
move
yeah.
on our topics here. So
Sorry.
we need a job description for the temporary file position, which is up to a 6-week project of up to 10 hours per week. And we're just talking about organizing what's there. We're not talking about scanning at this time.
No.
If we hire an administrative assistant, that may be part of the administrative assistant's job, and that would be something that we're going to have to worry about in August when we put that job description out, because we have a total of less than $5,000 to have administrative assistant. That's all we
Yeah,
asked for last year,
yeah.
and the price of the requested, originally was requested for $20, but somebody wanted 25 and then 20. And I said, we don't even pay some of our full-time or, regulars $20 an hour. So I suggested 17, but I don't know. I mean, how do we do this? Can we have a subcommittee?
I think
I'll participate in a subcommittee to go through a job description, a pay scale and whatever,
Okay.
so that we
Who wants
can
to
look
work?
at it and decide what.
Who wants to work at Stan on this? I'm gonna step out because I got too many things on my plate. Anybody else want to work with Stan on the job description for
I'm probably a logical person because I've done these kinds of job things before in my line of work, but.
We gotta be
The
realistic
pay
to
scale
yourself.
would be too low,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
that we know.
Absolutely.
And if
Our pay
nobody
scale's too
bites,
low.
we'll have to, raise it. But I think you want to get it done quickly. And we want to get this out. And Doc, are you gonna want to interview these?
I would rather not.
Okay, so do we want to just pick someone for this temporary position? And offer them the job at X with the qualifications once? And I mean, you
It's up
already.
to the select board to do whatever, I mean, this is what I'm
Well,
saying.
all right, then that's what I would say, since time is of the essence. Rather than make this into a whole new long project, it's only a temporary project. Let's come up with what we want to offer to the person.
We have Sherry Green and Christine Chandler who are actively interested in the position at this time.
And we'll write something up, email them both, and see who's interested
So I'll prepare
and when
something
they can start.
for this time next week, if that's okay. For a job description and a pay range and send it to you all and. Let's
And
see,
then
we're
we
gonna have a
can-
special meeting at some point, hopefully. If not, we're only looking 2 weeks away and that's not gonna make a difference one way or the other. You know, next meeting, next regular
That's
meeting.
true,
So,
just so that we can get it done.
right,
So June 24th agenda would be the review and approval of the job description for this.
And, yeah,
For files. Fabulous. Okay, thank you so very much. And
and then the next thing we'll tackle is
the
the
administrative assistant.
administrative assistant.
All right, Stan and Samara, thank you very much for putting your heads together, and if I can be of help in any way, don't hesitate to ask, but I am running some of these things.
Don, I think you've got enough on your plate.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna move on then to next page, we tabled the Japanese knotweed. However, I did want everybody to if you took the information that Samara sent us last week, you could print it out, how to battle the Japanese knotweed and win. And their Vermont invasive plant control contractors, Car Tree and Timber are a approved invasive control contractor. Would you like me to contact Henry and ask him if he can come to a Zoom meeting the next time briefly, just talk about what he has? All right, I will.
Sounds good to me.
And I'll just share with you my thoughts. If there's knotweed beyond our field, we have knotweed all over. Brookline.
Yeah, what are we trying to
So-
do, you know, how depth?
Yeah, so we should take a total picture and not
town.
just
I agree.
one field.
Right, you got, everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems very prudent to do that.
But as I said, this list is, there are 16 all throughout the state of Vermont. And excuse me, Car Tree and Timber was the first one, but I think it's
Okay.
alphabetical.
And Dot, I also contacted our local conservation district to see if they provide any assistance with that. I haven't heard that from them.
I also contacted Gloria Christopelli. You had mentioned her?
Jory
Really?
Christelli, yeah,
Yeah, and she has not responded.
she hasn't responded to me either, so that tells me she's busy.
Oh, because I wrote to her and she said she did respond, or she
I
got your.
I didn't
She
get
got
her.
my
Alright.
email, but
She
I'll
didn't-
try again, maybe
Okay.
it went astray, because I know she worked with this mesh stuff,
Right,
and I was, yeah.
okay, so I'm gonna move on,
Yeah.
we're sort of right on schedule, so that's good. Under old business, we have 4 positions that need appointments. If there are none tonight, at this time, no, actually 5 positions, Energy Commission.
Oh,
Animal Control Officer, is anybody in here willing? If not, I'm gonna advertise it again, and it's a $500 stipend. Any questions, anybody? Okay, so I'm gonna put this out on the listserv and on the Front Porch Forum. Energy Commission,
Energy Committee.
Energy Committee is already on, it's number 2. Bruce, do you have anybody that you're gonna make appointments? Go ahead.
Samara, myself, Danny Schoner, and John Bull.
Have all, you've reached all 4 of them? All right, so we, are you making a motion?
Sure. To
Okay.
accept those 3 other than me.
All
To
right,
the
so
Energy Committee.
we have a motion on the floor to appoint John Baloo, Samara Swick, and Daniel Schroeder,
Schoner.
Schoner as members of the Energy Committee. May I have and John Baloo, may I have a second?
Second.
Second. Oh, second, Stan. Any discussion? I think that's a dynamite committee.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna add, and Dot knows, because you've been part of the emails, Daniel and I are gonna get together on Friday. At my house, because his house is further up Grassy Brook Road. And we're gonna do the application for the initial $4,000.
Great.
I don't know what the signatory requirements are. He said it has to be sent in by a board. If I can get it done, I will get it done. And print it out and send it to everybody, the
Okay.
application. Is that okay?
Yes,
Okay, good.
and if we have to have a special meeting, we can put that on the agenda for a special.
Yeah.
Let's go easy.
But this
But
is
on
just,
that same meeting, we're gonna sign this RFP.
I know, I don't need an hour and a half.
But if you
special
can't make it, you don't have that.
meeting. Okay,
five people.
whatever.
yeah,
Okay.
Since it's a grant, I wonder if, and we're gonna have to, and it has to be an application for the grant and so forth. I'm wondering
I
if
think it can be
a
done.
formal vote on authorizing you to do that is required or
Well,
necessary.
we could do it and be safe. I don't care.
I mean, do it in
I
December.
mean, we could, can we do it? I mean, basically, if this is just the initial, then the initial ask for the initial $4,000. It's my understanding that Daniel is pretty well versed in it
Yeah,
and that, but that a
Seems to be.
select board member has to be the person submitting it. So I'll, throw myself into the.
yeah,
mix with that.
I could be wrong, Dot, but, and maybe you can think back to prior years, but looking in the past, the person representing the board has to be authorized by the board. I don't think there's just a general open meeting law that says any select board member can do anything they
Well,
committee
you
they want
can't
to sign.
you can't know, a select board member can't do anything they want at the time. So if we need to do a formal approval, can we do it tonight?
Yeah, I don't see why not, although it wasn't on the agenda. Where is it? Is it?
It's,
Well, technically you have, if you're gonna vote on it, you have to state that in the
Yeah.
agenda.
agenda, so people can comment on the vote.
Oh,
So, we can concur with your actions at the next meeting that you've done it, but that probably wouldn't be the best way of doing it when there's money involved.
okay. It's not outgoing money. It's incoming money. That we've all- It's incoming money. It's not outgoing. I'm not spending money. I'm asking for
I
money.
have money coming to
And
my other,
I think
Ventures.
I think in past meeting, we discussed that we were all, I just, I don't want to.
We have approved the we have agreed to do this.
We have agreed to do it. So this is just the paperwork.
I think we can probably, I don't know,
splitting hairs.
concur with the actions of the application.
Let's, see.
What if it work together on Friday and then let us know where we're at?
Okay, I will. I'll email you guys all on Friday. And what I'm thinking is if it's an electronic submission, we'll do it on my computer, and if I need to hold it, once it's done, it's probably something you log in on and then you can stop where you are and save it if I need to save it.
I'm just looking at this in terms of when you had your heart issues
Yeah,
and I was having mine, and I contacted VLCT and said, look, we're dead in the water. We're not doing anything. We can't do anything. What can we do? And his response was, the only thing you can do, Stan
Adjourn the meeting.
and Bruce, is sign a pay warrant, because you got to pay your bills,
Yeah.
and sign your payroll. You gotta.
that's
pay.
outgoing money.
It's outgoing.
Well, it's an action by the board. He didn't specify, because it's outgoing money.
No, I get it. I mean, they're more concerned that. the
I
logical
understand what you're
concern-
saying.
Yeah, the logical.
In
concern-
heart, I agree with that.
I agree. No, I totally get what you're saying, and I don't want to screw this up, but I do want to make sure it gets done soon. So I will follow the rules, and we will, if I need to wait until next meeting to actually submit it, but at least it will be done.
Good.
Okay,
Yes, get it all ready to signature and sign. We'll put it on the agenda.
okay.
I'll put it down here. Okay. All right, so now we have the Energy Committee has been set with 4 members. You do need to, when you meet with them, determine who's gonna do the recording part. All right, SEPCA and DV Fiber. We have an alternate for the DV Fiber. We don't have anybody for SEPCA. Is anybody in the board willing to
I just got that stuff today and I haven't read it to even know. if I
got
did
you
it
on
this
scribes with SEPCA?
Yes, SEPCA was really, basically you become a board member of SEPCA. Essentially. And she also sent me a second email that described that they really are looking for some specific skills. So I think that's a good one. We should advertise, we should put that out for calls to the town, but I suspect doing it via listserv will not garner any response. We have to find a way to, there may be like, they're looking for people with, who have attorney backgrounds and things like that.
I'm gonna table this for the next time and give us a chance to read over everything that
Read
you
it
sent
and
us
then we'll
today.
discuss the
and then we'll
best way
discuss
to
it.
recruit. Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
okay. And DV fiber representative again, that I can put out again, that would be to attend the meetings, but this, so I'll just put out for the animal control and DV fiber at this time. Okay,
Mhm.
all right, liability hold harmless agreements to be signed. So I'm sorry, I could take them home and I take.
When I glanced at them, I realized that they look basically like the ones we've always been using. And my thoughts on the only one that's complicated a little bit is Archie's. But it's not our job we're not worried about the contract, how it benefits or doesn't benefit the vendor. We are just interested in the insurance protection for us. So the insurance and liability protection for the town. So my guess is, since they were based on the VLCT model, they're adequate, probably not perfect, but adequate. And maybe for next, we can ask Judy or whoever is still, who's doing these, because they're the ones who have to deal with the insurance audit, to double check with VLCT and see if they've updated any of their contract templates.
I emailed the VLCT passive division asking them the question of, is it required that we have contracts in Articles 4 and Article 9, which deal with the very same agreements that we're having these things signed separately? Do we need to have the contract and the documents, or can we have just the documents, or can we have just the contract? And I asked for an answer by Friday.
Yeah, well, what they told us years ago is you have to have both.
Ah.
You signed the hold harmless thing, and you have a contract for every thing. I don't know. I mean, I'll be interested to hear how they respond.
Are we postponing then signing the liability hold harmless agreements that need to be signed? There are 5 of them in front of us. One is for E&M logging and land clearing. The second one is Green Valley carpet cleaning, which comes and does the town hall. The third one are the property maintenance from Why Not Work. The fourth one is AS Clark and Sons. And the fifth one is again, property maintenance and such, Bloom Enterprises LLC. Those are the 4 that they have.
Can I make a motion? I think we should sign them. Because
For the time being, I agree completely.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to sign each of those 5 items. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Stan Nova. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of signing the hold harmless liability hold harmless agreements signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Hearing none, the motion passes. I'm going to pass them around.
notes.
Oh, boy, it's like 9 places to sign. All right, I'm gonna sign where I can. And then. Okay, 1, and you can sign. And then. Well, Judy has all these flags on them, so that's good.
Twice.
I guess you guys do it twice and I signed it 3 spots. I'm gonna put this together so that it doesn't get separated from Judy, but what's a cover letter on that?
This one?
Is everything still there?
Oh,
Looks like it.
I don't remember that. No, it's just municipal representatives, but numbers, oh, there's only 3 lines, I see that. Phone number, it's like-
No, I got another one coming.
Gee. Killing me.
Here, Paul. And just on, what's on this page? There's 1 line left, and then you have to do it.
this is the cover letter there.
Don't you understand?
Mhm.
And then I will put these all in the,
You got them all passed out?
I have 5 of them passed out.
Okay.
That's one.
There's a cover letter that's used behind it. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Or. Two, 3, 4, 5. Well, then I'm gonna put this in the treasurer's mailbox right this. Could be.
Somebody happy?
No, I remember, because when I was treasurer, you get this, you go through the period of working that lump.
All right. Reports and updates. Next item, road supervisor Mark, we talk about the JCB delivery inspection report. The machine was delivered on Monday, June 5th. I was so excited because they went so go by my house. Their email was pretty funny.
Yeah, very exciting to have a machine now to do work and, showed up and our representative came a little bit later than the truck driver, so. We went through how to operate, a lot of stuff I remembered, some stuff I was refreshed on. So basically, we have a maintenance guy coming, he's supposed to contact you and set up a schedule. But he's coming to, address any issues that we have with the machine. There was an issue with the door not latching properly and the air conditioner wasn't putting out cold air.
Oh.
Not a huge deal, but it, on a new machine, it should work, so. Just little details like that.
What do you think of that tire? Mark? I really like
Yeah,
that.
it could go forever or it could go, you know, any day. I don't know what to think about it. One of the tires had a cut in the middle of it. And, so I mean, it's fully inflated and worked great traction, worked nice, but it's, I took pictures.
Good,
Went around, Dot got pictures, I went around after Dot. I got
Fantastic.
pictures.
what impression did you get when
Oh,
they said they would send a maintenance person? Because you look at page 2 of the lease agreement,
Mhm,
it says, if it's that way when you get it, you pay to fix it.
Right,
And so are they basically leading you to believe that if you tell them and have the pictures and documentation right up front, that it's not acceptable, they'll fix it and not we pay for it?
yeah, I'm not clear on how that's gonna work out.
Okay,
I know that.
so we may
Bobby
be hung
showed
with some
up.
expenses.
I went around with Bobby, the person we've all contacted.
Yeah.
And I showed him certain stuff that I found and, he didn't photograph.
Uh-huh.
Did you see the tire?
I'm not sure if he saw that tire. That may have been on the bottom when he was there. I did point out the other stuff that I noticed before that. Maybe this maintenance guy will do the pictures, but I mean, I've already run it for a couple of days, so.
I'm thinking that if I may interrupt, I think the maintenance man is gonna talk to you about how to change your fluids.
Yeah.
And how to fix, how to do this, how to do that, he's not here to. Yeah.
Okay, so what we got, we have to accept. If it
Except
goes bad,
that-
we pay for it.
Well, that's what we ended up with the tire, the one that.
Yeah, I know,
Last
I
time.
know,
Yeah,
doesn't justify it, but
but the
that's,
door was something that was pointed out immediately, it didn't close. when
Yeah,
the
I
delivery.
think the door was maybe, there was talk of a broken glass. and
That might
I
have been
think
where
it
that
in-
was. And it is under warranty, the air conditioner should be under warranty for the company.
Yeah.
and that brings up the question, will they pursue getting the warranty consummated to fix it? Or do we have to wait the time until we either have to buy it or we do buy it? Whether that be December or whether it be July,
I
in
have
order to
a-
get that warranty stuff fixed.
Yeah, I have a JCB manual that comes in the cab and I was just going through it to check on certain stuff. And there is talk about the warranty of JCB. How long it's good for. So, there may be more details to it that if you wanted to look.
Uh-huh.
So are you asking someone at this table, me, to follow up on that, or are you gonna follow up on them?
I mean, I've got the book, I'd be glad to bring
Okay.
it in and have you look through and see if there's something we should be doing.
I mean, it's already 2 years old, right? It's a 2021
Right.
and we're in 2023.
Yeah,
Okay,
But I'm not satisfied with, I want to make sure that the door is fixed and the AC is
Yes.
working, and if we notice that there's a severely damaged tire. And based upon past history, I think we need to go up, it's cost like $600 to replace the tire.
Yeah.
So, and that was really used, I don't know, no, that was a new tire.
No, that's good.
No, I think-
yeah,
was it a new tire?
Yeah,
So they get a new tire
yes.
out. Okay.
So I think,
So I need to write to our sales rep, Bobby,
yeah,
about those three things.
their rental person was Daniel. over
Oh,
at-
Daniel.
to make it clear, the conversation I had with Bobby was that they would go through that unit and check it top to bottom. The top to bottom isn't me seeing them cutting the tire. That's not top to bottom. That's throwing it in, throwing some oil in and throwing it out. So I'm kind of having a little bit of an issue, especially
Okay,
especially with the fact that we're thinking about purchasing the damn thing, that
Yeah.
full bulk. I think that they have to make good on it. So
Yeah,
I think a little pressure is in place should be. in
all right,
place.
so to
Are
contact
you
Daniel.
having been in this capacity before, are you willing to help?
I'll talk to Bobby again if you want me to do that. I don't know if it would get us.
It's not Bobby, it would be Daniel.
I've never
Daniel's
met
the
him.
rental guy.
Never met him.
Well, I don't know either one, but that was all the sales rep.
I don't think that we should wait. We should tell them right
I
off
agree.
that this is what we found. We wait till July,
Oh,
August, they're gonna go.
Yeah.
90.
All right, Bruce, I'm gonna ask him to delegate and ask you to please call up
I
the,
didn't name the number.
it's all these documents that we've been
Okay.
giving you, but I can give it to
Okay,
you again.
I
if
think
you
I've,
want.
I've seen.
Yeah,
I think I've seen.
call up and we got the tire concern, since we had damage on a tire previously, we had to buy it. The door does not catch when it's open, the driver's door, and the air conditioner is not providing
Door doesn't catch when it's open.
right, there's a thing that catches, it locks in so that it doesn't move when you
Okay.
drive. The door, the air conditioner, and the
AC.
tire, I'm not sure where the tire is, from back, left, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, how you would number them, but. You might need a picture of it.
Yeah, I have a picture.
We'll talk about
Go
it.
down and
I noticed it.
go down and take a picture and then call and, okay,
All right.
so, and then let us know.
Okay.
All right, very good.
Thank you, Bruce.
So that's. Okay,
So with the machine, I started to branch out. I moved a lot of materials around the town yard. And then I also went out and started to remove some tree debris from the winter storm damage that was still in the right of way and certain parts of Grassy Brook Road, Hill Road. I cleaned some culverts that have been plugged for a year.
Wow, great.
Just correcting a lot of places that I noticed in the winter time that the water coming onto the road and freezing out into the road, so I created the ditches again to correct the water. I mean, there's just so much that can be done. You don't have to even, you just go and you could just work all day, just from site to site, so.
Must be a luxury for you to have that ability, just do it when you see it.
Yeah, it's very enjoyable.
Yeah.
To
Great.
be able to address everything. And, so yes, I'm very, satisfied with what the machine can do. This machine also came with a thumb that was
Sweet.
installed, and I'm not sure why it was installed. It wasn't for us, but it's quite an asset to have. It's allow you to pick wood up
Oh,
with
yeah.
ease. A lot of times, just the bucket, you're trying to pick a
Oh,
rock,
you
and
can't do it.
you keep rolling it, and you have to.
You weren't
back up.
expecting it to come?
Well,
Yes, it was in the.
we
was
talked
essential.
about once when we were looking.
Yeah, right.
And then this one happened to have one, which
Ooh.
was great, so the ability to pick up a rock or
Oh, yeah.
tree or grab a brush is just huge. Makes the machine a whole nother positive piece of support. So anyway, I have much to do with it, and I also had I know it's getting toward the end of our fiscal year, and I got an update from Doc for some of the questions I had about where we were at in expenditures for the highway budget.
Mhm.
And one of my questions was gravel summer materials. Are we over budget? or under
According to
budget?
Summer Highway Materials, we had budgeted $34,000. And according to this most recent summary that we got on June 1st, $2,650 was spent. So that leaves,
It's because I think things are in the wrong lines, but I think you're still under budget. Because I looked at winter material, like today on this AP warrant, there's something called supplies that's under contractor services that probably should be under materials. I was gonna look at that when the AP warrant comes around. It's only a small amount though.
It's nice having a treasure on the side.
So,
So,
Thank you.
yeah, I mean, for winter materials, the only thing that should be in there is.
I know, this is always a problem because
Yeah.
every year, I remember the year I did it, Archie said, Samara, that's in the wrong line.
Yeah.
So I will actually, I actually have planned to, there are reports you can get from the treasurer. I'll get the detailed reports and take a look at them and see what looks like it belongs in what.
Yeah, because that was a little concerning, and I know we
Or-
held off a lot of purchases last year because the FEMA money was
We overspent.
way overspending, so.
I know, the other thing I wondered, if you don't mind my interjecting, when you were talking about doing the TA 60. And when it comes time to budget, we should see if we can simplify some of these categories. So for example, if we want to budget summer and winter, then that's fine, but basically, if that makes sense for us to do that, or we could just separate plowing and then materials, because all of our materials are basically summer materials, unless it's salt and plowing.
Yes, see, what we put out, we're required by the state to stone line a lot of ditches through this, they're all in segments. We started doing a little each year. We applied quite a bit last summer, and to satisfy FEMA, we have a lot more to do.
Yeah, so I added up that 2,000 and then there was 14,000 in winter materials, Todd, and it's still less than 34,000, so. The answer is you were to cut to what you were saying is, yeah, he has money.
Yeah, you have some money, but not 33,
Not-
not $32,000 worth.
Not
which is what
32,000.
This ad one
No,
item
you have
said.
probably about 15,000.
Okay.
Left in the
because,
budget.
You know, there's a lot of projects, whether it's general road maintenance, just to apply gravel and the crushed stone that we applied in the winter to help it to blend in, or whether it's to satisfy FEMA on the other side of Brookline needs to get done, and should it wait after July, should it? I have an opportunity to get it, but I bring it.
This question tomorrow will probably be able to answer. Don't we roll over highway funds so that if we don't spend the summer highway?
If we don't, if you look at the highway
Can't we roll it over
budget,
if we don't spend? it
there's
by-
not. You look at the bottom line, Dot, and the bottom line in highway budget is currently a negative. Because other areas were, I don't remember, I'm shooting from the hip here, which is bad.
Well, culverts were over, I know
Yeah,
that,
things are over because we're spending down a surplus. However, there's not much of a surplus left in the highway fund. I think, look at the fund, look at the balance sheet and look at the fund balance. Actually, Paul, I went through it with Paul. The fund balance had like about 72,000 left in it. But the highway fund is due current, if you look at your budget status report on the revenues, the highway fund isn't fully funded from this year's current taxes, so it's due about another
Yeah,
$10,000 or $12,000, maybe a little more.
Melissa said we had over 100 grand, she just changed it Friday.
It is over 100 grand, but she, and then I was trying to estimate how many taxes were delinquent.
He said the only thing that's left is, I think she said $1,800. One person, she can try to contact, it was like 900 a year or something, that's it.
Really?
Yep.
Because it looked to me
Right.
like the, well,
But, all right, all right.
we'll talk about that another
Yeah.
time. 'cause I'm
Is-
Melissa about it. Yeah,
if he doesn't go and spend what we have in that line item, and it gets rolled over. It's not gonna roll over because we were already
it
in a
doesn't roll
deficit.
over because you've
But
already like,
normally, if we weren't in a
if there
deficit.
was a surplus,
Yes.
if we hadn't spent and the bottom line was a positive, the
Right.
highway fund keeps its surplus.
Okay,
that's what she's
because
saying.
money has not been reimbursed, that's why we're in the hole.
I gathered that.
So that's.
Which is,
so we're
it's
okay.
more of a
When we
cash
don't
flow
spend
issue.
now, we can gain more.
Okay, that's good. So if I get an opportunity to apply for my.
Tonight, before we get late, I want you to
Yes.
change
And
one thing in
At the
your,
same
in your
time,
in your
The chloride.
transfer sheet.
we-
would be
Uh-huh.
great. Just add one little thing,
Okay.
so that it'll make it really easy to figure out what's coming and what hasn't.
Okay.
and
So
stuff.
Mark is asking permission to hire New Fame to come in and use calcium chloride on the dirt roads once they have been addressed this year.
What does that do?
It keeps the dust down.
That's
Oh,
Is that something that we need to do?
Well, I've gotten one
Makes it real
call
solid.
at, during that long dry heat. Roads got dusty and, so generally, once the roads have dried and they're in a good shape, then, it helps to hold that shape. Just
Yeah.
Because it keeps
It's
it
solid.
moist and compacted. And, so
What
I
are
would,
we putting down?
Calcium chloride.
it's a liquid, calcium chloride that, binds the road together.
What they're spraying on 30 when you go down to 30.
I usually do it once a year. I think
That's
I
a
down
problem.
You're better off not.
30.
And that keeps the
I
dust.
just spent a
It
month
keeps the
sitting.
dust down and when a car goes firing by and the dust, you lose.
Oh, yeah.
You lose material every
Yeah.
time. Due to wind, rain, it's in a form of erosion.
Yeah.
What are they gonna charge?
Do you know what New Thing charged this over the years? I've never heard.
I don't know. I don't ever, I mean,
You know what,
when,
Mark? Go, why don't you want to do some research on it and talk to Jay Wilson, see what the deal is? And talk about how much quantity we might need and then bring it to the next select board meeting,
Okay.
all right?
Sounds good.
Mark,
All right, so basically I have this long ongoing, maintenance list that, I'll work on every day, and I know there's a lot of the FEMA stuff that I can be doing. I don't know if you wanna hold off and put it for bid, or if you want me to, try and get things done, you know, elsewhere in town.
That's the Bennett
Okay.
Road ones, the Bennett Road ones that,
Yeah,
yeah, that you said Doc told me you said you could probably handle those.
yeah, there's,
We needed some work on the back of the daycare to get some trees down and clean up the messes back there. We've been kind of waiting for that excavator to get here. How many days do you think we would need to take to do all that?
just a few days.
Okay,
Here's my concern. We've got 5 different people here on this board, and if I say do this, and you say do that, and you say do. Mark needs to have some kind of system.
Well, I was gonna suggest, can we make a list and prioritize?
Excellent. I like that.
Yeah, I think that would probably be because, like, I need Mark to do some things right before the town party. And we got poison ivy to deal with, and then we got the knotweed, who knows, but. Clean this and level that and ditch this and FEMA this, so.
And there's only one of Mark, we can't clone him.
Right. So I do have that is part of this agenda item is the to-do list, the storms, the sage cleanup. We estimated that to be about $10,000 to $14,000 worth of work in addition to what we had budgeted. And that was the storm that we lost power for 4 days. AOT came in and gave that estimate, and we were talking about possibly having to go into our emergency fund to help cover those extra costs. So we don't know yet, but we just have to be very itemized in what we're doing, keeping our records. So, Mark, you said you have a list. We probably should.
Well, yeah, it's townwide.
Yeah. What's the best way of accomplishing this without making it too much of a?
Well, I can put it all in a priority. I mean, I make notes, I carry these little pocket notebooks, and every time I see something, I'll jot down a note. And so I kind of, in my own eyes, see where it fits as a priority, how soon that should be done. And yeah, but
I'm just wondering, we're meeting with FEMA tomorrow. We met last week or the week before.
yeah.
Would it accelerate our receipt of monies due us
Yes.
and get the projects done if we focused on that
Yeah.
first. So that's got a big
I
impact.
feel like that's number one priority.
Okay.
I wouldn't worry
Okay.
about the debris there.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the roads are all passable, they've all been graded up, so
Do you
I feel like I can step away from the general and focus on, like, say, priority. The sooner we get
Yeah.
FEMA satisfied, the sooner we can.
Get our, exactly.
So FEMA is, I'm writing this down, FEMA is our number one priority. FEMA
Yes.
projects
Yes.
are number
Yes.
one.
Yes, absolutely. And that was that and Mark's assistance is hopefully gonna help pay for the machine itself over time.
And number two, you have all the mowing to do.
Roadside mowing. is a-
Roadside
is a
mowing.
big
I'm looking at the graph, I'm like going,
We don't have a machine yet to do that mowing.
oh, we don't, so that won't be number
That's on the
two.
agenda for next month. To
Okay.
use ARPA money to, next meeting, to use ARPA money to. You have a machine, yeah, so it's on the agenda tonight.
Got it. And. Okay,
All right, so. Again, storm stage cleanup, FEMA mitigation, of course, you do your property management, and then there, pretty soon, there's gonna be hazard mitigation work with Wyndham Regional. That is gonna be planning out some other things as well as the AO, as well as the grant and aid for the roads.
Yeah,
can you remind me, what does BRIC stand for? Better roads, something,
It's basically,
it's gotta be a-
FEMA related damage to roads.
FEMA?
It's a hazard mitigation policy is what it's a
Mm.
grant.
It's called Building Resilient
There you go.
Infrastructure and Communities. Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities, BRIC. It's for new and updated local hazard mitigation planning. It's FEMA awarded us a project under a 2020 Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities grant.
And this is through,
Department of Public Safety for Vermont.
okay,
Right, Department of Public Safety from Vermont.
and
Correct.
this is different than the 2021 storm.
Correct.
Yes.
Got it, thank you.
And I have a folder on this, you know, but
Grant itself, the BRIC grant.
I've seen it, I just wondered.
$12,000 available grant.
I'm sorry?
Brick is for our town is worth about 12,000 plus
Okay,
dollars
thank you.
to upgrade a project mitigated.
right, and we advertised it and we appointed Wyndham
Wyndham
Regional
Regional.
Commissioner as the
They're managing it.
managing, and they're looking to meet with, yeah. Okay,
If you'd like, I could continue that thought. I'm wondering why we hadn't heard from Alyssa Savetto on this BRIC grant. Because she's the one who's gonna be primarily responsible for, as far as I understood, creating an update of our hazard mitigation grant. So I emailed her and said, A, did you get our executed copy of the bid / contract? And will we be,
What they call the intent? Is that-
I honestly don't know if that's it.
Yeah,
It's bid / contract. It's actually both.
right,
And it might be also referred to as intent. I don't know, Mark. It's a good question.
yeah.
But in any event, she says, yes, I got it from you, Stan, on the 17th of April. She says, we're trying to decide who in Wyndham Regional in this area of hazard mitigation is gonna work with the town. We haven't decided yet, but she says within a couple of weeks, we'll be to the select board and start working on this. So that's the update on that.
but then we got an email from Chris Campany,
We did
yes,
today.
no, a while ago, I sent it out, to everybody.
Oh, that's-
Was it about the same thing or was that about something else?
Municipal sharing,
That's a
All
different.
right, maybe
different grant.
oh my God, this stuff makes me crazy. All right,
I thought it was a different.
all right, so let's get back to the check, because I don't want to be here
Okay.
late tonight. So, Mark, we're gonna work on prioritizing, getting the materials that you need to get that done. Tomorrow, we're meeting on Zoom, if you wanted to come here tomorrow, 10 o'clock, and see what we have to do.
Sounds good.
Now, even though our culvert budget is overspent, can I get 3 2-foot culverts, for another FEMA job when the time gets to
If
it?
you've got to get it.
Because,
We have to order them and it may not even come in until July.
no, I think WW has supply now, and that's where we would be getting them. And, so,
You need them for the FEMA project?
well, if we do the Holland Hill mitigation, which after we talk to FEMA, I'll know better.
Okay,
But
so it's, if you wait until,
July 1,
no, if you go and order them from Double W now, and the bill doesn't come until July, it will, because it will go in on a cash basis into next year's budget.
Right.
And we do have, Bill, we do have $20,000 in this year's budget for emergency use.
There you go. And so there's money there too.
There is, yes.
Thank you.
I'll let you finish and then I have to go back to something on the JCB when you're done.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop there. I think, I have a sign order, which I know we have money to spend before the end of the fiscal year, so I might send it out and get what I know that we have.
Stop signs and the stolen signs, we need $1,500 in budget that wasn't touched yet.
Yeah. Yep, and, guess that's all my question.
I'm gonna go back to the JCB. I just wanted to point one or two things out, you know. Back on the May 4th emergency meeting, when we came in here and we signed this equipment sales order. Okay, this is what my signature, and this is what was on the form that I signed. Where did you get his signature? How did you get that? I never got that.
Well, I obviously last week was looking for completed documents because we had never submitted to the loan committee.
Right,
And you had sent me a letter and you suggested that I contact Bobby.
yes,
So I called him on Friday or Monday
right,
and then followed up with an email.
right,
Standard business practice, and said, you know, they're gonna make a decision between now and the end of the month,
right,
preferably in the next 2 weeks. And we don't have signed documents. I don't want to screw this up.
right.
So can you get it to us as fast as possible? So after your email this morning or this afternoon about there being numbers on there that weren't matching other numbers,
Right,
when I responded to you, I was not aware that he apparently went in and filled it in after you signed it.
correct,
Then he signed it and sent it to me.
correct.
I was assuming that it would have been filled out before everybody signed, but he
I did
didn't.
not initial these
So I owe
changes.
you an apology.
Okay, I did not initial these changes or additions on here.
Okay.
This is what I signed.
Yeah,
And their math is wrong because we just agreed 70% of the rental goes towards the purchase price, correct? We signed, we all agreed, we just voted and approved the minutes from the 17th. 70% of $6,500 is $4,500. He has $3,500 will be applied to the purchase price.
he screwed that up.
0.6% of the amount, so this is screwed up.
When you look at the other numbers though, and subtract the numbers from the sale price, he does come up with a 145, whatever.
That's correct.
So he ultimately comes up with the same numbers. He put in the wrong portion of the split that described what was happening in the background. It all comes out. So I guess what you're leading up to is we can either ask him to fix it or leave it as it is and just send it along as I have already, because they've not questioned it. The loan committee has not questioned it. It's kind of like the decision we're gonna make. Are we gonna vote to do this grant thing on Friday, or screw it? You know, it's gonna happen probably anyway. Let it go. I don't know. So I don't know. There's a right way and a wrong way to do everything.
To fix that detail, just ask them to fix it.
Okay, I can,
Could you want to do that? Do you want me to do that?
you want me to give you these two things just to remind you? I'll let you do it because
I already have copies.
You
I've
have
got
copies?
everything. I've
All
got a
right,
copy of
so
everything.
You know that this was what I signed.
Well, I didn't figure it out till about 4:30 this afternoon.
Okay.
When I started looking at it, it's like, saying, what was Dot talking about here?
Yeah, I did
What was
not.
wrong? And I said, oh my God, the guy marked it up after she
She
signed it.
marked it up after he signed it.
That's terrible.
Okay, so that's why I wanted to make sure that's on the record. that
Yeah.
It was marked up and that the 70% is equal to $4,500, not
It's
3,500.
45.50, I think is the actual number it comes out to be, if I could recall correctly.
Yeah, I mean, he has 70%. That math is not right. All right. Yeah, and that math was important sometimes. when we-
Well, it may very well be, and I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to mess the loan up. We'll fix it. We'll get it to fix it.
All right, anything else? I'm gonna move on to.
And
highway
thank you
grants.
for addressing that. That clarifies that.
Well, you caught the security serial number error and the other error, and I'm like, ooh, so that's good. All right, highways, grants and contracts, the brick grant fund and hazard mitigation, again, Wyndham Regional to be determined. I
Yeah.
thought that was the Chris
Yes.
Campion, I must be,
No,
We
this
received I'm
this
sorry.
company is a different grant.
Yeah, that's a different one.
Stan just discussed this one with
Okay.
Alyssa Sabeto.
Yeah.
all right, so this is under control.
Yeah, it is, and again, Alyssa will get back to us in a couple weeks. As far as a grants and aid scenario, we do have a $12,500 grant. Mr. Nugent, Jeff Nugent, wants to meet with either the select board or Mark or Archie. And either you, Dot, and or myself to go over that. He wants to decide what segment we're gonna work on and the particulars of it. And he'd like to meet with us apparently in the next week or two. So it would be nice. I think we did a query and I didn't get much response other than Samara, who said Wednesdays, I think is okay.
Wednesdays are usually good for me.
Okay, I can make that work. I don't know what Mark and Archie's or anyone else's.
So it's Wednesdays, I'm exhausted.
I know.
We have this class that we take
Yeah,
our cardiac class.
Scott and I have fun on Wednesdays, so 2 hours worth of rehab and cardio people.
What?
Actually said Dave meeting.
Archie said Dave's meetings are out.
Yeah, so, and I know Jeff is probably not gonna meet at night, so I suspect we just do it. Archie can talk with Mark and Archie got a good rapport. They seem to be, last year I realized that they're in sync a lot. And they talk a lot after hours and so forth, so I think if we could get that input, couple it with the rest of us, we'll be able to do this. Does that sound reasonable?
It's okay with
Yes.
me. Just keep me posted.
Okay,
Okay.
sorry if I didn't respond, if anything came in today, it was like a big flurry.
No. Don't worry about that. We know what it takes to be on this committee, so.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the code.
There's one other thing.
Oh, go ahead.
At the last FEMA meeting, I shut my mouth off saying, this lady, Kimberly
Yes.
Camarecci,
Yes.
sounded like we could get some good use out of her. I called her, talked with her. There's not a darn thing she can do for us. Stuff she brought up is not what she's really able to do. Matter of fact, she sent me back to AOT and said, they got some grant programs through AOT. Why don't you ask them for some money in the interim?
Well, why would she say, that's what I'm here for?
I asked her that, and I almost got her upset because I confronted her on that, not in a sense of saying, well, you said, but geez, I had the opinion that you were able, and you said that if we needed to go over some of these scope of work projects, you would help us out with that you had money. She said, no, I don't. It's not, so that's a no. You can't go there. They can't be there.
Kim is a dead end.
Yes, got it.
Okay.
Yes. So when if she shows up tomorrow, don't take lightly what she does say.
Got it.
On the other hand, I did log on to AOT's website and they do have a grants division. So I don't know tomorrow. I started to look it up and I printed out a page that I'd be happy to hand out if you'd like. It's kind of formidable, intimidating looking. And it outlines the program and you kind of get the feeling, well, there might be some money here. I would hope that maybe tomorrow's meeting, we can pin that down. without
All
taking
right,
too
yeah.
much more time tonight.
Okay.
So Mark, I guess the final thing is, will you be talking with Mark or Archie, or should I just email him asking him to converse with you about the things? Cause you've got stuff committed to your mind about culverts and sections. It's amazing.
Yeah, if you wanna shoot him an email and then I'll I'll make a point that,
Okay, I'll do that. Do that before I go to bed tonight.
you know, if he can join with us at any time, that's great. If not, we'll work around his schedule.
Great, thank you. I'm done.
Okay, when we did our budgeting for this year, we included money to provide the town with an option to either pre-purchase or to pay for cap prices on our fuel oil. And so that contract is here in front of us. I put it in our note here. There's 4 costs, $296, $329, $445, and $299 for these different options. Honestly, right now, I can't even think of what
When's
we
that
have.
done by?
Probably, well, it was sent it's dated May 22nd.
We had a
But we
month
had,
last
but
time.
we had 3 weeks since May 17th meeting, so it's been hanging here. I'm sure they're gonna deal with us in a positive light. We've been good customers with them, but this is for the prices at office agreement form. So it requires signatures, selection, and payment.
What do
We
get?
had
Cap price?
cap price option at $296. And there's the budget option, which costs a little bit more to we have to, okay, the total price protection fees signed to send in with the contract for a cap price option is $296. If we wanted to have the capped budget option spread out over a 10-month period, rounded out, it would cost us $329. So it's another $30, $40 for that. The flex option is no price protection. That's not what we wanted. That
Correct.
costs $445.
No,
No.
it doesn't.
And then there's the budget flex. So it looks like we're either the budget option or the cap price option.
And what did we do last year? Cap price? I don't know.
We capped it, but we chose the option that if the price of gasoline or heating fuel went down, we got the lower price.
Right, and I believe that's what these cap means, is that we will not pay more than $3.39 a gallon.
$329.
$3.39.
When I go home, if everyone feels comfortable with this, if we're gonna do what we did last year, I have it on my computer. It's just a matter of opening up, printing it out, looking at what option. I can just shoot everybody an email. If you want to vote, if you're gonna vote to go with the same option because we felt comfortable with it last year, which worked out for us well.
That's what we
We had
budgeted
solved
for.
the
I
issue
just
that
can't
way.
remember. All right, I'd like to make a motion that we will concur with the same, we will go along with the same type of capped option that was done for fuel oil purchase for the town of Brookline. May I have a second?
Second, Bruce.
Seconded by Bruce. All those in favor of continuing with the capped price option with Coda and Coda signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes, and we will see you tomorrow with this.
I think I even questioned it later on in the winter, how we were doing and what we were doing, and
We looked
when we
at the-
reviewed it, and it was, we made the right choice.
we need the right choice at that.
And we were really struggling over it.
We were, we had a good memory.
Okay, next under contracts, okay, contract for the foundation work at the Brookline Meeting House. We did provide, we got the bid in from Kerry to do the foundation work. We have not provided them with the contract. There was a question.
Who is this contract with?
Carrie, the foundation work.
We have pledged $15,000 of up to $15,000 of ARPA money to match the grant of $15,000 that the Brookline Meeting House got to continue with and repair the foundation at the meeting house. We haven't put the contracts together. Terry at a recent meeting said that he would like to consider amending his quote for the project because there was he said a 500% increase in his insurance costs, even though he has never had a claim. And that was the cost has gone up significantly. I did not, and I don't carry the contract. It's somewhere in the files. I'm guessing maybe we have a scanned copy of it.
Oh, Gary's contract for that?
The RFP, his.
Oh,
bid
the
that we-
RFP I have
yeah.
on. the
Well,
computer.
I have the
You
RFP,
do, okay.
but what was actually. He said that he wrote something on it, and I said, I think he just signed the RFP pretty much. It was not, I don't carry at home his contract. And he didn't have a
We
copy.
don't have a contract with him
We don't have a contract. but
because he
his-
hasn't, he's delayed responding to something that. has been
Insurance
answered.
providing us with the town's
Okay.
insurance. And we checked the Monday night's meeting, Carrie said that he did send off to the grantor, Vermont Historic, whatever. And the town, as the paperwork for the insurance.
See
He
if it
said
would
he
be
did
acceptable.
not send a copy to, did not have the insurance company, did not direct the insurance company to send it to Brookline, and he will. That's why we haven't done the contract. I
Right.
explained to
Okay.
Carrie that there is a form in our contract that allows for a scope change or an amended price, but I
Change
haven't
order.
gotten anything in writing.
Okay,
So it's still up in the air, and so I'm concerned about making sure that the Brookline Meeting House gets all of their dates met, because there are certain dates that certain things have to be handed in order for them to qualify, to continue to qualify to get their $15,000 grant. So I'm just wanting to follow up on this. Another item I just kind of have on here was, well, change order due. Is that there was a question earlier this year about putting in a vapor barrier. Rob, and I brought that up at Monday night's meeting house meeting, and Carrie said during the construction, that's when we'd possibly be able to put it in, but after construction, when the sides get sealed up, there's no way you're gonna be able to lay a vapor barrier. So that's just another concern that we had, and I thought we might want to discuss that.
so he's talking about the vapor barrier on the dirt floor.
Correct, and the only way to get it through is when the walls are down. Foundation, the old foundation is down, they can possibly throw the plastic and get it laid out, but there are beams in the middle of the floor. This is something that you, as a building commissioner, may want to get your feet wet in. This, and your work with Carrie.
Are you telling me he's closing up the entire foundation so you can't get underneath it?
No, there's an access, but you're not gonna be able to get the vapor barrier side to side,
Side to side,
because
what side to
I
side,
think you need to.
what side to
I,
side?
I'm gonna
You
guess.
have to put the vapor barrier down first before you put things on it.
Yes,
Of course, but you're talking about the
that's
floor.
all, but it's not in the specs.
Wait, you're talking about the floor, you're talking about the ground floor, or you're talking about the walls?
I don't
He's
know.
doing the
I think
walls,
it's the
he's
floor.
doing the walls, correct?
Well, isn't it the floor?
It's the
It
floor,
goes on the floor,
so what does that got to do with?
but I think the
wall?
installation of it is you can put it down first, and then when you put your new walls up, it's kind of tucked in, so
Yeah.
it's sealing the
Yeah.
Oh, because
moisture
he goes-
underneath.
Oh, because he's going into the ground too as well.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's right,
That's right.
okay,
Yeah.
now I understand.
So there's a question about changes to the scope and changes to the currently accepted bid amount that he had, although he's going on vacation, and I don't know exactly.
Well, this isn't a lot of money here, I don't know what we're talking about, but a roll of 6 mil plastic or greater isn't a huge amount of money. What is the size of that room? That's right, room's gotta be about
But you're talking a whole annex.
44, yeah, I
That's
know,
such
it's
a
pretty
good-
sizable. The only way to find out is, calling Perkins, well, not calling Circle Valley. And
Well, wait, is this vapor barrier wasn't in the original?
No,
It
it
was
was
not.
not.
But we've had a mold mitigation, they said you need to do a vapor barrier, and this is the time when it should be done. If we're going to be doing foundation work rather than after the fact, and we should have, could have, would have.
Well, but then it seems like it's. should
A
be
no-brainer?
No brainer.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. I see this as we need to just organize it and get a number. He's gonna have to adjust his bid by virtue of whatever the change in his insurance is. And he's gonna wanna look at what the cost of that
Oh, boy.
installation and material of the vapor barrier. Those two numbers applied to his initial estimate would give us a new number. And I suspect that he probably want to tell us, he just want to go out and buy simple plastic. There's probably a type of vapor barrier that's obviously gonna be more expensive than a simple piece of
Probably
plastic.
6 mil.
So, so, that change in that is gonna need to go into the RFP or his acceptance. He's gonna have to modify his acceptances. And or put it in the change order, one or the other.
Well,
The
that's
change
what I'm
order.
saying. He hasn't seen the change order because he hasn't gotten the contract. He hasn't gotten the contract because he hasn't sent the town the
But
insurance.
he's the one that's gonna get us the numbers.
He's gonna have to get.
And that's the starting point. We can't do a thing until he plays his part.
Talk to Carrie about this, just.
Well,
email him.
I want to ask building commissioner, is this something that you would do?
I prefer to call the supply, WW and Perkins and find out what's the normal. The way I see it, 6 mil, but I can ask them down there what they think. I can go to John or somebody down there and ask them what they think and come up with a price. I guess what I'm driving at, it will tell us how much in line he is with the price in terms of material.
Well, that means you're gonna have to measure the outside of the building to come up with that number. So you don't mind doing.
Takes 15 minutes.
All right, so Kerry knows he needs to get to the town, the insurance paperwork. Once we get the insurance paperwork to the town, then we can put together the contract. The contract, change order for the scope and the prices based upon his concern about insurance.
We
You
can
have to
do all
fill
that.
those papers and we'll work with it, but it needs to be done in a timely thing in order for the BMH to meet their deadlines that are set forth for the receiving
What
of
is
grant.
the deadline?
Well, he
There's-
doesn't need to
there's-
have it
there's
done
all
until
sorts of
December of
deadlines.
next year. So it can't be a real rush to. There may be initial,
Well, he had to have his insurance paperwork into them by now, and so.
No, Carrie should have had his
Okay.
insurance paper, we got that. But, and then and then whatever the deadline is for the church is what it is. Bruce is gonna get a price on the vapor barrier, so we know what the price should be. And Carrie has to tell us how much his insurance went up.
and how much it's gonna cost him to put it in. the vapor barrier.
Who's initiated the idea of doing the vapor barrier? Not that it's a bad idea.
We talked about it when there was a mold mitigation person who was brought up to this,
Oh, yeah,
to this
yeah,
committee,
I was always
to the select board
back in February.
back in February. I wasn't there, but there was some question about putting in a vapor barrier and, we're just bringing it forward. If it's going to have foundation work, now is the time to do it rather than later.
Makes sense to preserve the building as much as
Oh,
possible.
for that doubt. Okay,
I mean,
Alright.
the contract is partially done. I've partially done the contract. It's just that I knew there was a delay, and so
That was insurance.
I stopped where I felt I was safe. And whenever I get the stuff, I'll finish it.
All right, Dan, did you want to say something? I know you've been waiting around for a bit. We're talking about the vapor barrier.
Yes, I understand. My understanding was, we were gonna check with, John Sococcio, the, consultant that we've got, lined up to do a building assessment for us. And, a plan for the next phase of renovations, et cetera. And see what his, feeling was about a vapor barrier. I don't know if there was, I don't know if there's 100% agreement that of how we need to proceed on that. But anyways, I can give you the dimensions of the space if you want, Bruce. It's
oh, yeah,
29 by 38, the addition.
that's all?
Yep.
Okay,
38,
another
see,
thing.
that would be north to south, I guess. 38
Okay.
across the back. Anyhow, so,
Another thing is, we're applying for a $4,000 grant to do a building assessment to all, energy building assessment to all of our buildings.
That's right,
This should be a part of it.
that would include it. The
Oh,
$4,000.
I didn't know about that. Yeah, that would maybe
Yeah.
help us with this decision.
And $4,000 will cover
And-
this.
Yeah, if you're paying this guy to do an assessment,
Right,
I mean, this might save you some money.
yeah, well, I have my
Save
opinion
the
on, I have
council.
my opinion on that too, but I'm not gonna get into that now, but go ahead, Doc, it's your
Yeah.
ball game.
All right, so, we're waiting on Carrie to submit the
I get
paperwork,
you the
the
numbers on the
insurance.
price.
And his concerns for additional costs for.
Dan, are you aware of what the time frame is for Carrie to get that paperwork, insurance, stuff solidified?
No, I'm not.
Okay,
Okay,
I think I have a copy of document from the preservation entity. Maybe tonight I can, or tomorrow morning early, I can review what that deadline is, and if we need to get somebody's hasty attention, we can do that at that point.
Next time he's zipping down our hill, I'll stand in front of, I'll stand in the middle of the road.
all right, Carrie, I'm gonna move us on a little bit because it's already after 9 o'clock. We just want to continue on. Okay, so I'm coming to the building commissioner, all right, Bruce, we tabled the May 24th assessment because it's not in yet. There was the Brookline Meeting House survey that's been sent out electronically and posted on the website. Can we table that discussion into another meeting, which is the color coded? That's all right, we'll table that.
So There's not much to talk about that anyway.
Okay, Susie Little Peanuts water system
I
inspection,
haven't heard back from that. What was her
Yeah,
name?
what-
I forgot her name.
but
It was
what about
early April.
this? This came in May 24th.
Huh?
It said it
You
got
got-
filed, didn't I see that?
That's not this.
That's
That-
in addition
no,
to.
that- Wait, no, just a moment, please. No, that has to do with. That has to do with the inspection that Nancy Burke and someone from the state came in to inspect. If we have any lead in our system down
That's
there.
that one?
Yes,
All
that
right,
has nothing to do with this.
all right.
What you're talking about here is the
Source protection.
the source protection, which I never got a response back from, got her name now. Early April, when I told her I wanted her to give us assistance in doing it, because the past 2 times that we had that done, they helped, and now they were balking on helping this as well. And I asked them for help and they never responded back, so that's that.
You need to follow up on it because that might cause the closing of the daycare if they don't have a source protection
Let them
plan.
close it. That's garbage. They should have responded back. I sent them an email. I still have it.
Might want to make a phone call though.
No, I don't. I'll make a phone call. I'll send them another email.
All
I'm
right.
not gonna get on the phone with her for another hour and a half, talking about the same thing over and over again. They didn't respond.
Right, but it's our duty to have the source protection plan done.
Well, then somebody's gonna have to do it. It's not gonna be me. Okay, I'll move on.
Okay.
Work done by Code and Coda, had Sean from Code and Coda come over and, he serviced the system, the gas system, looked at the thermostats, we discussed some things. We shut down the air handlers in anticipation of possibly putting in, air purifiers in each room, which hasn't been determined. I think I sent everybody else out information on that. And those things were just energy bad and unhealthy. And was left with Sean that they were gonna get back to me again, which they haven't, to come back and drain the system so we don't have a freeze up issue in the 2 air handlers. The one in the basement's pretty easy to do. We hasn't been determined how to do it up top, and let me see. And as far as what, in fact, Mark sent me an email today about the air purifiers from Newbrook. And I haven't really gotten that far. I've looked at some stuff to see what we could do as a change rather than using those air handlers. They're completely antiquated situation that was done for the school. And it's Mark Bills that we can thank for pointing out to me why are we even running these damn things, and so we're not. And so I'm hoping very shortly to give you some kind of an idea. I think, generally speaking, let's be real specific, we're looking at $250 to $500 per air, depending on what you pick. And you can get a large one for the gym, and that leaves 4 more. So we're talking $1,500 to put an end to it. And it's a big deal in terms of energy consumption. It's a big deal in terms of health. it's a big deal in terms of not having to replace those filters every month, which are disgusting. I mean, they make Halloween spider things look like nothing. So Mark's idea originally was a really good idea, and I did make phone calls. I think I've told you this before, but I'm quick again. I did make phone calls to Newbrook, talked to Pat about it, and I called Olivia and asked her if there are other places had air purifiers, and they don't. So basically, we're the only ones that would be doing it. But given that we had already an existing situation that changed the ventilation system, I thought it was a good idea that we at least put air purifiers in there and put an end to it. Anybody have any questions?
Well, before you purchase the air
I'm not
purifier,
purchasing
yeah,
anything
yeah,
until I propose it, until I show you what I got.
okay.
I'll move on. So quote unquote is supposed to coin back by draining it. The gas, except for the flap that kind of needs to be replaced in the gas boiler. They're in good shape. They're running just fine. I'll move forward a little further. The Energy Committee, I think where we're at was kind of a standstill until we find out about the $4,000, because we have to do an energy assessment of all the buildings before we can analyze what we need and what will be covered under Act 172.
Right.
Which is what that's all about.
Which,
But that has nothing to do with additional grants or anything like that. But I thought it's a much better idea to go forward this way. And we're gonna have Wyndham Regional involved too, right? Chris Campy is gonna be involved at some point. So let's see what happens with $4,000.
I think Margot Gia and some other guy, the new guy, whose wife works at DDCC is who you're gonna deal with on that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Lastly, I did actually take a look at the window installment, the window store windows. I didn't look up real close, but I went around the building and looked at it. I thought they looked really good. I don't know if Kerry sealed them or anything like that, but they look like they fit really nicely. So, any questions?
I do. I have to bring up a couple of things here. I've explained to our Brookline Meeting House Committee and also the cemetery commissioners and around schoolhouse people about the sunshine law and having agendas and meeting minutes and such. I also explained about our changes to our purchase policy, where we have the incidental up to 2,500 and then the different levels of payment. I believe what my explanation of the purchase policy was misunderstood, in that when I explained that we have up to $2,500 before we have to put something out to bid, it does not mean that we can do work without having select board approval. And so there was a couple of things that were done that involved the expenditure of money without our approval. And so we're looking at right now asking for forgiveness. They're asking for forgiveness rather than permission to do some of the things. For example, when the windows came in on Friday, and I forwarded an email to everybody that the windows have arrived. Stan, I think you responded and offered help, but you hit reply and it just came back to me.
No.
Okay, but anyway, we received, Kerry has asked for payment for his work in doing some work on the building based upon a misunderstanding of what our purchase policy is. And so I have in front of me a balance requested for $1,210 for the following items. One was repairing the wood steps to the porch of the meeting house. And then 2 men, 8 hours each at $60, including moving scaffoldings and ladders to and from the site for $960. To remove the hanging limbs from a tree in the rear of the building, which he subcontracted out to a tree climber for $150. Now, I was aware of the tree. In fact, I brought Mark Bills down to look at that. But Kerry had already gotten it done. And so I've tried to again express that work, the advisory committee and advise the select board of what their suggests, they can vote to agree on something and bring it to the select board. This is not something that should be done, continue to do. So, Bruce,
I said the same thing to Leanne, was it last week when we got the plans, in a nice way. I basically said to her, you're an advisory committee. You need to bring all expenditures, I said in a nice way, to the select board. Peter Meyer came in, I could still see him sitting over there asking for,
$100.
no, it's more than that, it's up to
500, I think.
Oh, I didn't see
That was
that.
years ago.
And we
Years ago.
granted it, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, I appreciate all the work they do, but they need their advisory committee. If they're gonna make an expenditure, they need to discuss it with us five.
Okay,
Am
I've
Am I
reiterated
speaking
that,
to the
and
choir
this is
here?
a concern.
Have we put it in writing?
There's a
It's in
purchase
the
policy.
purchase policy, I've shared it, yes,
Yeah.
yes, and
No,
again
you know,
today,
it's in
the,
policy.
okay, so we've had a couple of this, we've
So
had.
they're clear on it now.
I hope so. Peter
Oh,
Myers, wanted to spend money. I know Dan has, asked for reimbursement and it's in the, accounts payable for signage to replace the signs that were stolen from the recycle bin with the information. He's asking for $40-something of reimbursement. And I think it's a fair reimbursement, but it should have been approved before
I think,
ordered.
yeah, I think,
Can I ask a question?
yeah.
How many times a month do they meet?
3,
They meet for meetings 3 times a month?
yeah.
They meet for meetings 3 times a month? Okay, so I thought it was once, excuse me. I stand corrected. And we meet twice a month. Why aren't they asking us?
Well, I think the thing is it's not like, I think it's a question of the way the state works. You have to have approval to disperse funds. So you can't have somebody disperse the money first and then
And then
ask to be reimbursed. You know, and so, and that's really why the rule is that way. I mean,
Right.
that's,
So we have several situations going on at the same time. So we have this Harry Warren. All right, I can approve the purchase, the balance due for the storm windows. Or was approved. We
Yes,
paid
that was previously
50%, so
approved.
this should be not a problem. When I talked to Kerry about it, he said, you know, to move them. When I did this agenda, I thought the windows were gonna come in and they were gonna go into storage in the back of the room until we figured out the cost and how to get it installed. Harry felt that the more the glass is handled, the more opportunity for something to get broken. I can understand that. They did put it in. It hasn't been inspected, but you're saying you have.
I looked at it, I didn't go
Okay,
up and
but
look
We
at every
don't pay
window.
for things unless we have inspected that it was installed properly. So we're at that situation. There's another one in here that later on, I don't want to keep going late here, but if you don't mind, I'm gonna switch down to item 6 on the last page. It says the Brookline Meeting House plant sale was a success. They are requesting to apply the dedicated kitchen funds, that's approximately $300 remaining, and some of the plant sale money to purchase a new refrigerator and to dispose of the antique units currently in the kitchen. Again, it was researched and ordered
the question,
without the select board. Tonight it's coming to the select board, so
So
it's in
here's-
the accounts payable.
but here's the problem. Did they get it tax-free? Because we buy it tax-free.
Yes.
Are we paying? Yeah, okay, good. So at least that's good.
Yes,
Because
the accounts
that's-
payable,
Because when, if they paid sales tax on it, because it was ordered, you know, but that's the thing, is if it's, well, we
Todd,
have.
I can comment if you'd let me, I don't know, just for a
sure,
second.
go ahead, Daniel, thank you.
First of all, I think, I admit that, in both of those cases you mentioned, the refrigerator and the storm window, installation, there was money spent and work done without prior authorization, and we realized we screwed up there. And I think that our committee is fully apprised now of the proper order of business going forward. And I know Leanne is feeling very, remiss about not having had us do things correctly in those instances. But I mean, in both cases, they were, I would just say, good faith errors, if you will. In the case of the storm windows, as Dot mentioned, they showed up, and it was a decent enough day out, and Terry's was urgent, had some urgency about getting them up on the building right away, rather than handling them, storing them, bringing them back out, et cetera, waiting for a different day. And he needed to fit it into his work schedule and his schedule of family obligations and so on and so forth. So it got done when it got done, but and I was on hand for the entire installation, and I'm pretty certain it was done correctly. But and in the case of the refrigerator, we agreed on our committee to acquire a refrigerator, and a deal came along, so to speak, from All Around Appliance for a model that was on sale, like $500 off, and it expired the end of that week. And so we just decided, after consulting with each other, to jump on it. But again, without prior authorization, and that was
You
our.
can't do it.
But
You
I'm not
can't,
happy.
you can't, I think maybe the way to handle this, since the money is spent, and since these people have worked hard and clearly they know, get it now.
It's like asking forgiveness rather than
Yeah,
permission.
but I think it should be explicitly clear, and this is the hard ass in me, is to say, if it happens again,
There will be no, there will be.
there will be no
Repayment.
reimbursement.
Well-
Consider it a donation.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
it has to be. And there was no tax.
I think we understand that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We can't do things
Yeah.
this way.
I think they get it.
I'm sure there's enough guilt already without
Yeah.
going
I
any
mean,
further than that, but thank you, Dan, for explaining that. It's, and what has been offered by others is also my sentiment
You need
too.
to excuse yourself when they go.
I do.
Okay.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good
Good night. Yeah, I start to feel that.
But we're gonna need to finish up a couple of other things. So I'm saying this was a concern,
Yeah.
and I sent again the hard copies of the policy. There was a misunderstanding about the incidental fees versus getting an RFP and not getting an RFP, but you still have to have select board approval. So I'm gonna ask that the bill for the rest of the storm windows will go on the next accounts payable. And how does this select, so, and I also asked that this bill go on the next accounts payable, which is for that.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go through here pretty quickly, if you don't mind,
Yeah, let's
okay.
do it.
All right, let's get through here. Town clerk report, there is no town clerk report. Just wanna, most of the other thing here is, I've already gotten permission and I have ordered, and the bill is in for the porta potty for the July 22nd party. I brought this up, it's on a previous agenda and we voted it. What I would like to do now is ask the board's permission to continue with using some of the community fund expense, fund account to continue to pay for the supplies and food and such that are necessary to run the party. And we're looking for approximately $1,000, and I broke it down in the agenda. 10 by 10 pop-up tent would be approximately $100, and that can be used by the town and stored in the basement for this and history fairs and other events. We're looking at signage and PR, which might cost us around $100, going to Staples and getting some of that done. Purchasing of food and the barbecue supplies, soft drinks and water, approximately $500. And again, we're looking for funds for the expenses to come from the community activity fund that has been sitting stagnant for several years. So we're looking up to approximately $1,000 approval at this time to start to purchase some of these things.
I'd make a motion to approve that.
Mhm, I
Is there
second.
a rain date for that party?
July 22nd.
So there is a rain date.
No rain date,
There's no rain date.
no rain date. It's indoors.
Oh.
Most of it, I mean, the barbecue cooking will be outdoors
So
and
what's
people
the
can.
10 by 10?
The tent will go over the barbecue people who are.
For $74 at Walmart right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's about $100, depends.
What are they?
And $74.
Tidbit in Papa Pet.
Yeah. So, all right, so I have a motion and we have a
Second.
seconded by Stan Noga. All those in favor of approving of up to $1,000 at this time for the expenses to be incurred for the July 22nd party, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the motion passes. Thank you very much. If possible, if the tax bills go out in time, we'd like to put a save the date notice in there as well. I'm gonna leave the item number 2 here. It's pretty self-explanatory. Riverside Cemetery information is sort of explanatory.
Yeah, we'll just read it.
Yeah, historic grounds, schoolhouse, hopefully we're gonna have a meeting. I have an agenda for that, but that's planning, it's a 200th anniversary. We need to clean the building. That would be done with the gentleman who's done it once a year. The Green Mountain Valley carpet cleaning guy comes in and cleans. And we're gonna work on, I'd like permission to expend some of the money raised for Cynthia Now's Memorial Garden to be used in the rototilling, soil amendment, weed fabric protector, and mulch.
Who's
for
doing the
plants.
work?
Has to be, we're gonna meet, and Bruce had volunteered a year or two ago to do the rototilling, and we're gonna see if we can get volunteers. If not, we're gonna have the
Because I'm,
property
you know,
maintenance people.
I'm a gardening addict, so I'm a logical.
I will be,
willing
we'll see what's that, work bee will be out there, we'll put it out there, we'll look for a nice weekend and get it done.
I'm not gonna rototill.
No, I'm not either. So, I'd like permission to,
Why don't we sheet mulch it instead? But never mind, I'm digressing.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're into the no dig. kind
all
of
right,
thing.
I'd like permission, I'd like the board's approval to begin that process. And I'm estimating the cost not to exceed $500 at this time.
Okay, I would move to approve that.
Okay, I have a
Second
motion.
it.
May I have a second for up to
I bet we
$500?
can
All
do it.
seconds.
I bet we can do it.
Okay, seconded, I'm Stan Noga, okay. All those in favor of approving up to $500 at this time for the round schoolhouse garden, memorial garden, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you, and of course, the materials will be sent. All right, emails were sent out to the open meeting guidelines. I'm gonna postpone number 5. Basically, it was a littering, something that the Department of Health, myself, it's not causing a detriment to the town's welfare or health, but it is a littering thing that is a misdemeanor with the police would have to be involved, and so I'm working with the resident on that. We already talked about the refrigerator. So they would like to, I'd like to make a motion that the request by the Brookline Meeting House Committee to apply the dedicated funds, approximately $300 remaining from a kitchen fund from the Cleveland Foundation, and some of the plant sale money to purchase the new refrigerator from All About Appliances, and it's in the accounts payable. The total amount of, okay, $301 from the dedicated fund and $1,449 from the Brookline Meeting House plant sale to purchase a refrigerator and dispose of the old ones. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Stan. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Good, done. There's one other thing that the meeting house would like, that I would like the town to approve. And that is, the meeting house has put this forward, but I think this is something that the town should pay for. And it is, we have 3 properties in town that are on the National Historic Register, and 2 of them are buildings. The third one is our bridge. This was reviewed at the Brookline Meeting House Committee, and this is a symbolic bronze plaque that could be placed on the church building and on the round schoolhouse. And if it's approved, it's approximately, Dan, correct me on this, $166.
I think he's gone.
Oh, maybe good. Less than
Yeah, he's gone.
$175 per plaque. I'd like to find the funds from in-house rather than take it from the fundraising efforts that they've been doing because
Well,
it
they,
is a
they
building.
have, yeah, I mean, that could
There's
go,
funds.
that could come from their fund.
Yeah.
And
I would like the town to.
why?
Why? Because it's our buildings and they've done all this other work, but it's up to the select.
It's
yeah.
all the town's money, I mean, really, so.
So come from the accounts.
I think I
Why
had
would it
offered
be an
to
administrative
donate
expense?
something to either the town or the meeting house. It's a $200 gift certificate, and I was hoping that at either the town picnic or the next organizational parties celebration at the meeting house that either a raffle or an auction of that, and I understand Gary LaHorton is doing something as well, so there's a precedent for the process as well as there's another item to consider. And its base value is $200. I'm
I think they
donating.
would like to have this
So
before the
that
party.
would cover, well, oh, I see, they want that
it
before
installed,
the party.
They wanted at the party to be ready to unveil on the two buildings.
Is that the size of it?
It's.
Pretty much, I think.
Pretty much, yeah.
And
I
it's bronze?
suppose, you
Right.
really couldn't it come out of the sign budget?
It could come out of the sign budget.
Why not? Yeah, that's a good idea.
That would be, that would make me feel.
Creativity.
But that,
All
All
right.
right. Okay, that would just come out of your budget. You
All
don't have to
right.
order it. All right, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the purchase of two plaques designating the historic, National Register of Historic Places for the Round Schoolhouse and the Brookline Meeting House from the sign budget of town. May I have a second? Seconded by Samara. Any discussion? I love you all. Thank you. All right, the motion passes and I will tell them
we
that they.
didn't say aye, we have.
Oh, yes, I.
Everybody,
No.
somebody say aye. Any opposed? All right, so what happens at 9:30? I turn to a pumpkin.
Yeah,
Okay, communications, Wyndham Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan Request Meeting. Again, that was something that. I thought that was the brick.
No, I think we've covered most of these. We've covered the FEMA Zoom meeting.
Yep,
We
yep,
covered
yep,
the
yep,
Wyndham Regional.
yep.
Peter Meyer emailed and we know
Justice
about that.
Communications, Stan, you talked to
You're no longer-
Margaret on the, about the health officer. The Newburgh Fire Department, it just needed to be refreshed. I am asking them, telling them that we're gonna be putting it on the town warning in March.
Yeah, because it's
That's
coming out of ARPA money, we are going to get town approval for that.
We wanted to take it out, I wasn't sure it was
I
our
didn't
money
think we
that
were
he
gonna
was-
do that.
He was asking for it from ARPA money.
Oh,
But it could also be,
It could
Tax
come out
level.
it could come out from anything, but we feel like the town
we're
in
gonna have the
general
town to
needs
vote
to,
on it.
needs.
So
to
that's
vote.
what I'm gonna write. I didn't write to him because I forgot where it was coming from.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna do the pay orders and the warrants and then we'll be done. Oh, another mail, I just want to say, I believe it's fraud. I'm gonna pass it
Yeah,
around.
let's do the pay orders.
Okay, payroll warrant.
Yeah, we looked at this.
I'd like to
Yeah.
make a motion to approve payroll
didn't-
warrant.
that'd be excess.
We
Payroll,
looked at this,
something around.
we stopped in to look for the contracts and saw this, and I think this is bogus.
Yeah,
I think this is bogus.
it's unanimous.
We should do a
Yeah.
scam check and see if it's a scam. I certainly wouldn't send them any banking information.
Correct.
It's not the first one we've gotten,
No, we've got
Well-
another one, just like it.
just like it.
You
And
want-
she has a file called fraud and it's in there, so I would just tell her to put it back on the fraud file.
Yeah,
Estimated, yeah, put it in the fraud, put it in the fraud file. Okay, should I check it off?
Yeah, and say place in fraud file.
Put in fraud.
It's a scam, phishing information. All right, I'm going to make a motion to approve payroll warrant 2348 dated June 7th, 2023 in the amount of $4,440.88. May I have a second?
Second,
seconded by Stan. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving payroll warrant 2348 for $4,440.88 signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. I'll pass it around for signatures.
Yeah, this is the one, they gotta turn all the pages so that they're facing the right direction. Oh, and I figured out how to rotate it.
Oh, did you? Good.
Yeah, but if they're facing different directions.
yeah, that's been an issue for a long time.
Yeah, I'll talk.
I was
to-
kind of wise ass and say, turn your computer over, your laptop over.
Well, I thought I'd stand on my head, but didn't feel like it.
I don't know, I haven't done yoga long enough to,
Oh, okay.
All right, I'm
Stay
gonna
on the
move us
head.
on
I'm slow
to
now.
accounts payable. I'd like to make a motion to approve check accounts payable check warrant number 2347 dated June 7th, 23 in the amount of
The big one.
all these numbers.
It's got the school payment in it.
$259,631.27. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Samara. Any discussion? This includes the
Yeah, I'm gonna look
questionable.
at a couple of the account items. I looked at a couple of the highway ones, and you know how we were talking about the budget line versus, so. I'm gonna take a quick peek at the bill for a couple that I
Okay.
couldn't see online.
Okay.
And then if I think it should go somewhere else, I think I'm gonna write a note to the treasurer to
And-
move it to someplace
That
else.
would be ideal because I
Thank you.
think that happens more often than we
It
realize.
happens all the time.
Yeah.
It's the bookkeepers don't do They don't always know where things go.
Right.
So,
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. All right, all those in favor of approving accounts payable warrant 2347 in the amount of $259,631.27. All those in favor say aye.
Oh, hey.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Pass this around. I think I actually had two payroll warrants that I should have read to you.
oh, I might not have signed them.
Yes, I didn't read the second one yet.
Thank you for your handling of the meeting house issue. That was a sensitive one to deal with, I'm sure, and not easy to pull
Yeah.
off, and thank you for the way you handled that.
It was misunderstanding of what the purchase order changes. I really think it was on it. It was. All right, Vanessa, I'm gonna do another number here
This
for you.
Yeah,
Ready?
yeah, great, okay.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the payroll warrant 2346 dated May 24th, 2023 in the amount of $1,667.63. May I have a second?
What is that for?
This is a May 24th payroll.
Oh,
Because we had
payroll.
3 weeks in between. So may I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Stan. Any discussion? 3-week payroll period. All right.
Okay, Dodd, let's see. I wanna look at this.
All those, let me finish this one.
Yeah, finish.
All those in favor of approving payroll warrant 2346 in the amount of $1,667.63 signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, this one I'll send around next. This is the second one. Okay, Samara, you have a question?
There's a couple of things. Do you want the RFP publication notices to go under some summer contract services and equipment? It's $552.
That was the
No, I'm asking you, what account, do you, the
Shouldn't
student?
that be coming from the newspaper? Can we have?
Yeah,
legal
it should be
notices?
legal notices, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there should be legal
Should
notices.
be legal.
Good
notices.
catch.
I'm channeling Tom Stats, he was always really good at this.
Yeah.
Okay. Very briefly, while you're looking over that, for the agenda for June 21st, we're going to have the information about purchasing a mowing attachment. Update on the application for the municipal equipment loan, if any. We will review the job description for filing. We'll talk about the knotweed and any other items that come to our attention at that time.
Oh, I was gonna ask, Paul should do an update on the 911, his 911.
At 911, excellent.
Wait until you get,
Until I get a definitive answer from.
well, you might have it in 2 weeks, so.
Oh, yeah.
I'll put on the agenda.
For the
Yeah,
agenda.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'll try to send out a preliminary agenda and before I finalize it and send it to Guy in case somebody else says that there's something coming up. But at this time, I'd like to adjourn this evening's meeting.
All right.
9:45 p.m.
40, yeah. Fine.
I'm signing this, but here's another one. This one is wrong too.
Stan, could you stop the recording, please?
Thank you.
On the bottom of the screen.
It's only a
Yeah.
little bit, but this should be.
And meeting for all.